latest gaming news, hot topics, and more. With guest Triple Cup Chuck, Live Wires Gaming, 108 Dragons TV, Bloody Knuckles, Operations Ops 100, live, and your host K Mega 405. The GRG podcast
starts right now.
I need to be a lot better. Oh, hold on. Let me turn that echo off. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! All right. Now, I need to be a lot better when I'm putting in that intro because I keep forgetting about my intro and then doing the GRG intro. But anyway, we doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing it live. One hell of a show. Probably might be the most controversial GRG because I guarantee you we're going to go in on this. And I'm not talking about we're going to be negative or positive or whatever, but we are going to go in full detail. And on not only that, we have a full slate. We have everybody in here tonight. You know what I'm saying? Well, I think we got room for maybe two more. But regardless of that, man, we're really going to talk about this, go in. And, man, first, let me get to the people. We have a guest. Very happy to have this guest come back. I mean, he was a little nervous when he first came on the last time. But, man, I've been seeing my boy getting out there on Twitter, man, handling business. I seen he got up there. He's moving up in the YouTube space. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation is his first home, but, man, he plays on everything, man. So welcome our boy Cali Rex back to GRG. What's happening with you, bro?
Thanks a lot for having me back on. Can't wait to talk about these topics, and I am very... let's just say I have a lot of stuff to say about The Last of Us controversy.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see. We're going to talk about it in full detail. I'm going to let everybody. I know Livewire will probably come in here a little bit later, but I'm going to let everybody have their time. Everybody's going to be on their bloody knuckles tonight when it comes to this topic. I want to hear.
In front of our podcast, just watch.
Hey, like I said, we might not even hit all the topics tonight. We might just have two. I don't know. We understand, but we'll just go ahead and we'll start off light with our first topic, and then we're going to get straight into The Last of Us discussion because there's so much to talk about. It's kind of like its own little soap opera, man. It's pretty crazy. But, yeah, it's going to be all right. It's about to go down. So, anyway, thank you, Cali Rex, for coming on to the show so we can hear your points of view. And let's get on to somebody else who's a guest. He just kind of popped in. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to talk about this stuff going on. So let's go ahead and give it up for my man Pred from the Next Podcast. What's happening with you, brother? He got his mic muted. He probably went and took his old ass, took a shit, knowing him. Anyway, all right. So I'll get back to him. But anyway, we have another person that's here. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time coming. I'm glad that my boy is back. What's going on with you, 108 Dragons TV? You came back right on time.
Woo! I can't wait to get to these topics. Happy to be back. People, I'm feeling better. I'm one leg down, but I'll be all right. But it's definitely good to see all the people, man, showing up. My panel is crazy. We're going to get these topics, man. I think it's going to be real different tonight. Facts.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm looking at my boy Alex out there. Listen, let me tell you, and I see my boy Chris Hart up in here. What's going on with you, Chris? I know that you're going to be in the chat. You're acting a fool. Listen, Alex, let me make this point. Before I go to anybody else. I don't give two damns about what people are saying about me, how they portray me, what they think about me, because you know what it's going to do? Nothing. It stops nothing. I'm still going to say what I want to say. I'm still going to post what I want to post. They can't do shit to me. They don't want to see me in person. That's why they avoid me. If they want to see me, then they have every right to, when we get to E3 or get to any other event that's maybe closer to their area. I don't give a shit about what they think. I do what I want to do, and there's nothing that they can do to stop it. So that's where I stand on that. They can't stop it. They can't do it. They've been trying to sabotage GRG. They've been trying to sabotage the homies on the panel. They've done everything possible. They called me out my name. There's people that showed stuff about my kids, talked about my mama, did everything they possibly could to try to shut my mouth. And what is only happening? I'm only growing, baby. I'm only getting stronger. So that's all that I care about is me and my team doing what we need to do, and we're going to keep going forward. So I don't care about what they say. because that's on them. Keep talking about me. The only thing it does is motivate me more. I'm renting space in your head. All right, so now let me get on to it.
Test.
What's up? You here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Hold on.
Go finish your intros, man. Go ahead.
Well, no. I was going to you next since you just popped in. I was over here going on a little rant right fast. What's going on with you, Pred? What's happening with you, brother?
Not much, man. I was trying to talk earlier, but it seems like every time I jump onto a new podcast for whatever reason, I got to restart my PC so you guys can hear me. So I'm here, man. I'm happy to be here. Kind of popped in last minute, but I'm
You're
here,
on Windows 98.
I'm on NT.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you got to give him at least Windows 2000 XP, something like that. Anyway. Oh man. All right. Good. Okay, we moving on down the line. My boy, Keep PK Live. What's going on with you, boy, man? You gonna sit there and show us your gameplay for the first time on the show, man? I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait.
Hey, happy Friday, friends and family. I'm glad to be here with all amongst my homies in gaming, and I'm glad to give you some. This is my first time, so don't judge me. I just started playing this game, so don't judge my gameplay yet. I got a lot better.
Hey, man, listen. I mean, when I first was doing it, when I jumped on Xbox, when me and Xbox started off on Next Podcast, man, listen, it was awful. When we first started doing GRG and I was over here trying to do the gameplay, it was awful. My poor PC was not handling the funk, man. So it is what it is. It wasn't bad at all, man. So it is what it is. You'll know when to cut and to chop and stuff like that. But man, I just appreciate that you put the time in to want to let people see what you play and what you enjoy playing. That's what it's all about. So, all right, man, cool. Let's get on to it. 100, what's happening with you, brother?
Not much, man. Preparing for this marathon ass podcast for like 17 hours. You know what I'm saying? We need to donate something.
Give it to
the families because this gonna go for a long time. So I hope y'all got the drinks. Cause I got mine.
I got my Hennessy tonight. I had to substitute the Crown Royal for the Hennessy tonight. So for the Hennessy Black. So we're gonna yeah. It's gonna be a good night. Good night.
Lord, it's gonna be a long night.
It ain't gonna be a long night. It ain't gonna be. I promise. I mean, it might be the normal.
That's no lie.
The normal 3-hour podcast, but I promise you, I'm not gonna let us just. We might not have this. I know we got like 6 topics. We'll probably just, like I said, only maybe do 2 or 3. It's according to how when we get to the Last of Us situation, how long they'll go. But all right, so Operations Op, what's happening with you, brother? Are you ready for tonight?
Man, I'm trying to get myself together. I've been swamped all week. Try to do a little bit of gaming, get as much as I can now. Finish the school up, bro. Just get a new car first time, bro. It's just been crazy. And like on top of all this happening on Twitter and everything, bro, especially the other stuff is still developing right now, bro. It's gonna be crazy tonight. Nice. Like I'm trying to keep calm, try to talk fast and keep it brief, but still be like articulate. But man, it's gonna be a long night. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear you about to let us know how you feel about the situation. And thank you, Lady Infamous, for the embers, man. Definitely appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Oh, and you send me some more. Pay the bills. I got you. Got you. Thank you. But you can always send some more. You know what I'm saying? I definitely appreciate that. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Lady is even interested in finding out and want to hear what we want to how we want to break this down tonight. And definitely I want to hear what you ladies are going to say about that on GWG tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Well, for me, it's like 11 a.m. when you guys start. That's Central Time. But you guys, I think, start your time at, is it 10 Pacific? And I think it's like 12 Eastern. Or
Yo, hold up, man. Hold up. Who gameplay is this?
Yo, for real, I was about to say.
He can't jump in the hole with the A button?
Hey, man, that's my boy. Hey, man, that's PK, man. He's just not trying.
Oh, my bad.
You've been gone forever, Lemon. You gonna come in here and
use the A button. You swinging at the hole. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. But you know what? You still my guy.
Oh,
you know what? You my guy. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Eventually, I figured it out.
I did figure it out afterwards. I didn't realize what it was until afterwards. I told you don't judge me, man.
He said don't judge.
I'm not, son. I'm watching it.
You just judged him.
Wait, hold on. We gonna do that over Streets of Rage. You gonna get me over
I
copyright?
really didn't judge him. I just said
if I saw it, I would have cut it. You know what I'm saying? But I was in a hurry trying to get stuff ready. So look, I cut it. So I just cut it. So whatever. All right. So so I did catch it. I caught some of it.
That game show music just kicked in. Bloom, 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 bloom.
We got one more. We got one more person. Unless you're gonna keep talking.
I'm sorry.
All right. Six Layer. What's going on, man? You see your knuckleheaded homeboy is here. So, you know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that for once? And then how do you feel about tonight? And what you been doing, bro? How's life been treating you?
Life has its ups and downs, man. You know how it is, but yeah, it goes the good with the bad. But in terms of tonight, for those in attendance and the millions watching at home, let's get ready to rumble. We're about to get into these crazy topics tonight, and
all right, so
get it started.
All right, let's get it started. Let's go ahead. What's up, Handy Agent Slugger? Hey, man, what's happening with you, Agent? We need to get some fighting going on. I don't know when's the last time you played some MK or some Tekken or something. Man, you gotta hit your boy up, man. We gotta get some fighting going on, bro. But man, glad you're here. Thank you for the embers, appreciate it. And oh man, he gave us a crying panda. Come on now, let's wait. All right, so I'm gonna throw you guys off. You know what I'm saying? The first topic was talking about the little Summerfest thing. Hell with that. Let's get that out of here. Let's just get to the good stuff right now. All right, so we're gonna talk about an alleged rumor that just popped out a couple of hours ago, which was talking about the PlayStation 5. Now, this is what's crazy, right? Here's a person. I'm gonna go look for it right now because it tripped me out. I want to be completely accurate about what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me get to it. All right. So, a person by the name of Tridex, I think that's how you say his name, came out and said that the info that he's gathered over the last few weeks is the final dev kit for the PS5. And so, check this out. He says...
You're referring to Tidux?
Yeah, Tidux.
Tidux.
Yeah, Tidux, whatever. Okay, you know what I'm saying.
Let him be country, man. You know.
Let me be country.
I don't know that country, but all right.
Well, hold on. Tidux, what? I don't care. Listen.
Continue.
All right, so anyway, so he says the PS5 supports all RNDA3 features, include VRS, but it doesn't end there. It will support features that are exclusive to the platform, and some RNDA3. So I'm gonna go straight to okay. So Cali Rex. I don't know what your knowledge with the whole specs thing is. So I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying. Are you fluent in it, or do you want to hear somebody else talk about it first before you get in?
I think I'll wait. I'm not very much of a tech guy myself.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get to you a little bit later. I got to go straight to our tech guys, right? So I'm gonna go straight to my man Six Slayer, and then PK.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna go to Lemon after that. All right. So, okay, Slayer, you got to explain this to me because you know I'm not the biggest specs guy either, but you have to explain to me is this even possible for one, and why was this not brought up when Mark Cerny was at the GDC? Well, could this be possible?
Bruh, first off, I know we trying to get into some baby steps because, we got levels to this shit, right? Later on tonight, got a big topic to talk about, so now we got this little topic. But why we got to waste time on worthless bullshit from worthless people with worthless lies? This is the same dude.
Whoa, Slayer.
The same dude with this 13 teraflop nonsense.
Oh, was that the same guy?
Same guy. That ends the conversation there. It really do. Like, come on, man. Why I gotta? And it's just like you said. If this is so true, why didn't Mark Cerny say it? He didn't, because it's not true. And the discussion. I'm sorry to kill the discussion, but there it is. Next topic, please.
Oh my God! So basically, are you going to tell me that this it just doesn't make any sense? It's absolutely. I didn't even never heard. I just now started hearing about the RNDA, whatever the hell that shit called, is
RDNA3.
two.
Come on.
So now, they were saying. I remember D Batch was saying that PlayStation 5 was only doing the RDNA 1. So then I don't know if that got debunked or whatever, but
Right.
but now it's supposed to be 2. And now I'm hearing that the PlayStation 5 can potentially do a 3, and then they get VRS. Isn't that an Xbox patent thing? Don't that belong to Xbox?
You hear that? That's some Tylenol. I gotta take some Tylenol. My head hurt already. It's stupid. The stupid makes my head hurt. I'm not kidding. All right. So, put simply, listen.
All right.
RDNA 1. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best that AMD has out on the PC right now. Okay, now the Xbox Series X is known to have RDNA 2. You know the features it has because Microsoft ain't had to lie or hide nothing in respect to that from Giddy Up. Now, even before we knew specifically what was in the Xbox, with the Series X, with the name and all that, as revealed at the Game Awards late last year. Earlier last year, I think at E3, was it? Or maybe even the E3 before, Microsoft was very clear this, what became known as the Series X had hardware ray tracing. When it was Sony's turn, they didn't say anything about that till whenever the next big situation was, if it was E3 or whatever the next year, or whatever, like GDC or whatever the big event was, after the one when they reported that one, where there was little mention of ray tracing, but not really. So from the beginning, Microsoft has been upfront, and we know that the Xbox Series X, has RDNA 2. Now, a lot of the rumors, now there's a lot of debate on this, if the PS5 has RDNA 1, with some elements of RDNA 2, or if it's the whole bag, and this is where all the arguments about the VRS and ray trace and other things come into play. Now, I really don't think the PS5 has all the elements of RDNA 2 that the Xbox has. But if I already am iffy on that, and all us true tech heads are, why in God's name would I even dream of it even having anything with RDNA 3? We don't even know what supposed features it would have. No one's talked about that yet. We still on RDNA 2. That's not even out on the PC yet. Okay, there's still unsubstantiated rumors about that. We got some more recent ones on the PC and the other day. So, no. Just no. We don't even know exactly what's in the PS5 still. We don't know the system. We know very little still. So just no.
Quick question. What component in the Xbox Series X allows for these features to be implemented? The RDNA 2?
It's the GPU.
The GPU, okay.
It's not the API with the DirectX. Now the DirectX is just the software interface, the API, the application interface that the programmers use to access that hardware. But the hardware actually has to have it in the first place, to reference and to program to.
So for these features, are there specific benchmarks you have to meet in order to implement them in a GPU?
You mean benchmarks? I think you might be using the wrong word, but in terms of the hardware has to have it, and then your SDK, your software development kit has to have, the ability to allow you to, to access those features within the hardware.
Okay.
Yeah, the architecture has to be there to be supported.
Right.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. All right.
But you can't just add that in software and it be the same level as hardware. I mean, you could do anything in software, but it will be way slower. But
wow. Big shout out to my boy iDizzy81. He says, thank you for the embers. He says these insiders that call themselves insiders out here looking like this mystery man. Damn well they about to tell you something shady and not legit. As King David would say, snake oil salesman salute y'all. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from what I just seen, because that just came out of nowhere, and there's nobody else that's jumping on the bandwagon that's of importance. And the only thing I've been seeing is some other content creators that said stuff like this, but they've also been in the whole 13 teraflop space. I think with Red Gaming or something like that. Those are the only two people that I've seen. I haven't seen anything from an actual developer or anybody, because they said that they have the dev kits already. I think that this was if they had the dev kits already, then that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't Cerny bring that up? That basically says that this thing is better than the Series X, would it not? PK?
Technically,
Oh well, yeah. You go ahead. Go ahead.
you can add PK in this, but I'll just say real quick, and then that's basically all I should have to say on this. Is it's not as better. Might have some features, but what is supposed features in RDNA3? Have you ever heard of any? Because I know I haven't.
I you know what I'm saying? I'm just now finding out about 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's what I'm saying. This has kind of jumped on me, kind of like the whole teraflop phase came up. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. And so then when you do your little homework and figure a couple of things out, you kind of get it. But then this whole thing now, and then just adding more stuff, it just blows my mind. PK, let me hear your thoughts about this, man. I mean, did this even sound remotely true to you at all?
So I would say, like, no, it doesn't sound true.
You trying to be diplomatic. You trying to be diplomatic.
I don't have to be technical about it. Like
Right.
we could just look at the evidence, right? So what did AMD themselves come out and say? They came out and said Microsoft and AMD worked together to create a custom architecture and everything for this Xbox. They didn't say anything about Sony. So Sony did not work with AMD. So how would they have technology of AMD's when AMD is the one that's going to bring? You see what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
how do you have something that they're not even presenting themselves? It doesn't even make sense. So it
That's a
doesn't add
great
up.
point. See, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
The point I'm making is it's like we're talking about rumors and specs, but the people who are bringing the hardware that Sony's apparently borrowing and didn't help co-create, like Microsoft did with AMD, because remember they tweeted, and I held that tweet. I took a screenshot of that because I was like, this means something. Remember, I sent that to you, and I said this is going to be a talking point later.
Yep, I remember that.
The point I'm making is they are not just, they didn't just tweet it, they're advertising the partnership that them and Microsoft have, that they co-developed this hardware that they're potentially going to use in their future cards. They didn't say anything, not even one iota about PlayStation or Sony. So in my understanding, just from that alone, that just says that Sony is just borrowing or using already on the shelf technology. Of course, it's going to be somewhat custom, but it's not co-developed, and that's going to be the huge difference maker here, and why there's rumors that Sony's having part issues or shortages versus Microsoft not saying anything like that, or Phil Spencer rather is not saying anything like that. It's because of the partnership, the closeness. Now I think that the same guy who tweeted who said that the 13 teraflops and I got a source and all that, just remember this. None of the people who actually worked on the dev kit came out and said anything like this or what the PlayStation can do for as RDNA3 or even RDNA2 for that matter. They haven't said anything like that. They haven't said these capabilities exist in this hardware at all. No one's sitting there parading around about the capability of the PlayStation, but you hear a lot about the Xbox. And I'm not saying that the PlayStation is not going to be a good console, but at the same time, it's not. What you do hear is that there is a gap between the two consoles, and it's huge. And that is with the Series X being a monster when it comes to it. It's not a small gap, it's a huge gap. And that comes from the words of the developers. That comes from those people who are working on those games with the dev kits in their hand.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense, man. Thank you. Appreciate the guys that came in and said what's up. I'm over here just listening to the people in the podcast, man, break this down. Let me go to you, Pred, because I forgot that you was in here too. You're knowledgeable on PCs and stuff like that. What is your thought process on this, man? I mean, did you find this remotely true at all?
No, not at all. Like I don't know who went first, but he was saying like if this was something that was true, it would have been discussed about when Mark Senior did his little spill a couple of weeks ago. So I don't have any truth, especially with like looking at Twitter this week and seeing like everybody getting exposed for being fake. I really don't trust this at all. I don't think it's true. They like last time I even looked at the RDNA stuff, I thought that Sony hadn't even confirmed RDNA2 completely. It was like a custom RDNA2 that really was just like RDNA1 plus, to be honest with you. So I mean, I haven't really paid too much attention to it at this point because they haven't really released shit other than what Mark Cerny's little thing was. But until I start seeing some credible people come out and start discussing what's going on with PlayStation, I'm not gonna believe anything I see on Twitter right now.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's the thing. That would have already been confirmed by somebody at PlayStation, even if Mark Cerny didn't say it. I mean, yeah, that could be one of those things where it could be the blow up moment. But it would be to me like, all right, so you've been holding this back to let Xbox talk about that's been talking about their specs, and you've had more specs and allow the you know what I'm saying the public thought process of believing that Xbox has had the more powerful console for all this time just to make it when you show your console to not to have the more powerful. That just sounds odd to me. What do you think about this, Lemon? I mean, does this make any sense to you?
It's an absolute absurd lie. First of all, AMD had a press conference earlier this year talking about 3.0 RDNA. Now, then they announced that they'll be talking about it in full next year. There's no way that no PlayStation 5 dev kit has no RDNA 3.0. And we don't play dev kits. We play final products that's at home. All dev kits are superior to the consoles that we have in-house. That is a fact. Now, when you look at how Sony approached building a system and Microsoft approached building a system, Sony PlayStation 5 does have RDNA 2.0, and it also has hardware for ray tracing, but they cannot do ray tracing like the Xbox because they don't have the power. More power equal better ray tracing. That's all it is. This is just complete nonsense. This has been talked about, and for this guy to continuously make an ass out of himself and keep putting out false information from his sources is just ridiculous. This is insane. And anybody who's been keeping up with it, like I said, they don't have the GPU power to do anything with ray tracing better than the Xbox. No matter if they got RDNA 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, they don't have the overhead to play with. That's why they having overheating problems. They don't have the overhead. So proof is in the pudding, man. It's just common sense.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Let me go to you, 100. What do you think about this, man? I mean, do you think that, I mean, like, if, let's say that this is true, right? Let's just think on the hypothetical side of things. Let's say that this is true. Wouldn't this be, and they bring this out, wouldn't you even believe more now that, like, the PlayStation 5 would be delayed? Because this change, because from what has been said from GDC to now this being brought up, they can't manufacture all these consoles. That's when they just changed all this hardware and software, right? Am I right on this? 100 probably went away. He went away for a long time.
I'm gonna do a 100.
Right,
well, you know, it's too late. It's too late in the game to change because they in manufacturing stage. So what could they possibly do? And plus, I bleed green anyway. I ain't playing that shit. It's gonna go in the garage.
That sounds like 100. Thank you, 100. All right, nice, good, and quick. All right, that was good. Thank you. That was good. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back, Lynn. Welcome back. All right, let me go to Op. What's your thoughts about this, man? You know what I'm saying? Do you got any explanations behind this?
Man, look at it this way. Y'all probably won't know this, but like for the young people out there, do you remember the episode of SpongeBob with Squidward's living in a box as a hobo with a cup extra spare change? But that's what Gamepass look like right now. Like the sheer level of desperation at this point, man, it's bizarre right now. Because we already had a semi specs reveal of the PS5 earlier this year, and now there's new rumors about the specs at this point. like, what the fuck are we doing here at this point? Like, you already got confirmation for some of it right now, and we're just making up the rest right now because it's getting hard. It's getting hard out here for some of these people. Like, no, this is bullshit. Like, y'all already playing to death at this point, so I'm gonna say it's overkill. But like, if Sony hasn't said it at this point, I don't think it's gonna be true at this point. And like Lemon said, he doesn't even believe that the PS3 can be able to handle those features as well at this point. So this is really just mute points. I don't know why people are pulling these up. Like, I get it. The PS5 is working at Xbox Series X. For y'all and crazy narratives over the years, it's gonna be a big deal. But in like you back up and look over it, it's really not that big of a deal. It's gonna be a good system for y'all. You can enjoy your exclusives, you can enjoy your games over there, and you're gonna be fine. Like, just let that shit go. Like, just creating shit out of thin air, just make you feel better about your own product you're gonna buy. Makes no sense. You're already gonna buy a PS5. You're gonna enjoy the games on there, regardless of how they are. All this is ridiculous, is unnecessary. Like, y'all gotta give it a rest. And that's all I gotta say.
Cool.
I got a question though. I got a question.
Go ahead.
When Microsoft took that L on power, did the Xbox community start making up shit to make it more powerful?
Well, according to the PlayStation fanboys, they did, but that was a
no.
PlayStation.
I'm saying, did the Xbox community start making? There you go. That's the answer. This was ridiculous.
One fake guy with the Xbox community, but apparently it was the part of Reset Era, like trolling everybody.
Yo, these dudes are just—it doesn't make sense at this point. But my bad.
No, you good. All right. Let me go to you, Livewire, because I seen you in here. I know you're probably gonna say, what are we talking about? So let me go ahead and let you know. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you was paying attention in the DMs, but I was showing the guys, this new specs that, what's his name, Tidex. Did I say that right this time?
Tidux.
Okay, thank you. Let me be country, asshole. All right, so anyway, so
hey, listen now.
Tidux, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. DuckTales, I have no idea. Listen, this is what I know. Dun, 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 dun. But this guy dropped a whole bunch of information about the new specs with the PlayStation 5, basically saying that it's going to have RDNA2 and RDNA3. It's basically going to be more powerful than the Xbox, and of course it's going to be more. It's going to be faster, and it's also going to have VRS. That I think is it VSR or VRS, whatever it's called. Something that Xbox, VRS. Implemented as well. So do you think that this PlayStation 5 is going to have all these capabilities, or do you think this is just a load of crap?
Did Mark Cerny say this?
Nope, didn't hear Mark Cerny say it. This is
it ain't in there, dog. It ain't in there. If he ain't mentioned it, it ain't in there. Guess what? If I know that I have something that's supposed to make my console sound great or amazing, I'm gonna say it when I'm doing the spec review. Or I'm not gonna wait until like the console releases 8 months later and be like, yo, by the way, we got this super duper sauce. Like, no, like that you're gonna talk about that right away, because number one, the people that need to know are the devs, right? Mark Cerny said he was talking to the devs. So anything he was going to be talking about that was supposed to be this amazing thing, he would have said there. And the things that he was talking about, what, the SSD, which is great, their audio, 3D audio, and everything. I mean, and like the basic next gen stuff, right? So he already said what he was going to say. So all this RDNA3, bro, that's crazy, bro. That's like saying, yo, Microsoft is making Unreal 8 games. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you talking about you just making up stuff? You sound like my kid brother when we was kids talking about, yo, last night when you was asleep, yo, I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Frogs. Like, what? For real, dog? Like, that's what we talking about? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's what this dude sound. He's just making up stuff to be making up stuff. He a habitual liar. You can see it. He's a habitual and a liar. Habitual liar, dog.
Oh, damn. You just added a little bit more to it. Oh, my God.
I'm using that.
Oh, man. All right. So I'm going to just say this before I get to Cali Rex and get his points of view on this. Y'all all taking the L if y'all wrong about this. If Sony dropped this bomb on y'all, y'all all taking the L. You see, I'm shutting up. I
I'm
don't
only
know what.
taking
I
the L
don't
because
mind
my
taking the
age
L,
limit.
but if you look at the
Limon.
right now, if
Y'all
this was
all
true,
taking the
we
L.
wouldn't see it by now. I don't see a reason why to wait.
Yeah, no, that part, yeah, like I mean, honestly, I don't know enough about it. That's why I'm glad that everybody's here that knows more about the spec talk than I do, and that's breaking it down. Because I mean, when I looked at it, I'm kind of like the first thing I thought about was why Mark Cerny didn't mention it, or why nobody from Sony, why there's no you know no leaked information that shows these type of things or a patent or anything. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Normally when people are pretty adamant about this stuff, they got some kind of source other
Hey,
than,
Mecca.
yeah, my homeboy from down the street, 2 blocks around, his mom's uncle sit there and told him and told the shorty, and the side chick that he was talking about brought this up to them, and then I got the info. Like, that's what it sounds like to me.
Hey,
Like, what is
Mecca.
going on?
What month we in? May, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's the 5th month of the year, so we halfway through almost. We almost halfway through.
Yeah.
They don't even have RNDA 2.0 yet on PC, and we gonna have a console, quote unquote, with 3.0. And we ain't even talking about the console. We really talking about the dev kit, which we don't own or don't play.
Yeah.
This is kind of retarded, but okay.
I got you. All right. So Cali Rex, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, I know you stand, you know, you bleed blue, bro. So what? I mean, I'm saying, do you think that this is a possibility? Do you, or, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that do you even know who these people are, and do you follow them or anything like that?
Well, I do follow Tags, but I do know his track record of information is shoddy at best.
Oof.
I mean, he has gotten some
you're being
stuff right,
so nice.
but he has gotten a lot of stuff wrong. But I don't think that it's because I think where PlayStation is or Sony is so far probably into development of the PS5 that I don't think it would have RDNA3 at all. So I think the rumor is fake as hell, and honestly, I just don't think that they would change it this late in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think that's what everybody else is saying on the panel. I mean, there's people that's in the chat that's saying, you know, basically the same thing. I mean, even when you got Chris that's saying, "Look, I can't talk about this," then you know something is wrong, because Chris talks about anything. If they, you know what I'm saying, he's always, if you say that that the sky is blue, he's gonna tell you that it's green. Well, no, he ain't gonna ever tell you that it's green. He's gonna tell you that it's.
He can't talk about it because he can't spell RDNA2.
Oh no, yo, he came in here and he was honest. He was honest. He said he ain't gonna talk about that because he said he don't know information. So,
spell RDNA2.
Yeah. Disrespectful. Anyway, all right.
Disrespectful.
So, yeah, he told you to shut your mouth. All right, so let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I know this is what everybody wants to talk about, and I think this is going to be a really long topic. So I really do, because like I said, I want everybody to get their piece in, and then I'm going to go back and I want you to give me more. So let me go ahead and go to our guest, Callie. The Last of Us 2 situation. All right, so for anybody that's that's lived under a rock, if you do, then I need to explain that there's PlayStation's biggest title to date, the game that is probably one of the most anticipated games of the last, I don't know, maybe decade, one of them. Probably next to Final Fantasy and you know, the new Halo and other games, but this game got leaked, and it got leaked not a normal leak, because we've seen leaks, we've read things, we've seen things for other games, for events, for, you know, console reveals, you know, game reveals. You know, we've seen stuff on Bleeding Edge, on the intro, things like this, but we've never seen in the history. I mean, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But in my you know, from the history that I know of, never seen a leak like this ever before in my life. And the leak is so intense that it not only shows different key parts of the game, but it also goes in detail of how the story plays out, which has caused a shitstorm of uproar, not only about what's going on within the game story-wise, but for the leaks itself, and then on top of all of that, the rumors that where it came from. First, earlier this week, it's supposed to have been a disgruntled employee. Then it came to disgruntled employees. Then now, just today, there's been some information from Game Industry or Game Insider, whatever they're called, that said that it was somebody. Sony addressed it as they found the individuals, and they did not work for Naughty Dog or worked for Sony. That was today. So there's so much more that's packed up in here. Not only the fact that it's got people upset because of what's going on within the game. It's got the woke police excited. It's got the non-woke police excited. It's got people that of religious backgrounds upset. It's got people from sexual orientations upset. It's got people that's in love with the characters upset. So many things, and then on top of that, Naughty Dog themselves has been wrapped up in controversy ever since 2016. I think that people do forget about when Jason Schreier, or Shire, I think that's his name, Shire. Was it Shire or Schroeder? I don't know how you say it.
Schreier, yes, Schreier.
Jason Schreier from Kotaku, well, formerly from Kotaku. He basically made an article talking about sexual harassment. It was allegations that was brought up from a male employee. Also was saying that there was female employees as well. It caused a lot of uproar. Amy Hennig had said certain things, not about the sexual things, but about the turmoil. That's why she was one of the first people to leave. A lot of people that's been there has left. There's been people that's been developers that's kind of taking shots at Naughty Dog, but then all of a sudden had to take it back. All of these things, plus so much more, has gone on within this whole situation. This might take up the whole damn show. So I'm going to go to our guest right off the bat, and I want you to give me the thoughts of what you think. Do you think that Sony is telling the truth about this? Do you think Naughty Dog's to blame? Do you think this individual or individuals are part of Naughty Dog? Give me everything that you can think of what's going on. What do you think?
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of research into this because I've been looking into all these statements that have been coming out from both people that are just like either trying to prove the information that's coming out as wrong or as factual. And honestly, the only incident that I can think of, because this whole thing is about pay dispute, at least from what I've been hearing. The only incident I can think of that was publicly was with the former developer of Naughty Dog, Jonathan Cooper, I believe is his name.
Jonathan Cooper.
Yeah.
Where he complained about Naughty Dog holding or trying to hold back his pay, his bonus, I believe, or I don't know if it was his paycheck or
His last paycheck.
Yeah, they were trying to hold it back. That was the only incident I could find publicly. Now, I find it strange that the same people that are complaining that it was, or that stated it was over a pay dispute, didn't complain back then, because the whole pay scene doesn't really add up for me. And the more I look into it, it could be about, of course, because Jason Schreier brought up the whole crunch incident at Naughty Dog, so it could be over that. But it's just, again, they didn't come out and talk to him specifically, because Jason Schreier even said it on Twitter that they didn't come to him. So this whole thing is just kind of, it's just hard to figure out what is the actual motivation from the developers, you know?
Right.
But
and, I mean, do you? What about the leak itself, though? I mean, where do you think? I mean, do you think that it possibly came from a hacker, like some people are indicating that it came from, or do you think that this is an inside job?
now I do think that it could be a hacker, but the possibility of that is slightly low. Although I will say, someone did bring up a good point that it could be easier now, since of course everybody is working from home, right? So you don't have that kind of computer protection that you have when you work at a company. But I do think that this could be an employee, of course, that is pissed, for whatever the reasons is at Naughty Dog, because no one, I don't think anybody would really have full access to the game and the script of it if they hacked an employee. I think it's just there's too many red lights flashing.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'll definitely get back to you when we talk to other people about this. So don't worry about it because I know that there's going to be some things that you like. Oh man, I forgot about that. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to you about it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you got any questions that any of the panel that they say something that crosses your mind, don't be afraid to ask or let it be known. So I'm all right. 100. Are you back yet? I still see you muted, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right,
Dang.
cool. Oh man, you was gone. I hit you up earlier.
I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So yeah, no, I hit you up. I was like, damn, we thought you went to the store, went to sleep, baked some cookies, talk to your
You want to get a
kids.
drink?
Yeah, made a drink, made a little pie. You know what I'm saying, with a little roasted chicken. You know, shit, did everything. Talk to the neighbor. We didn't know what you
Just
was doing.
called you and your mama on the low.
Ain't your mama.
Hey,
I was going through an email and I cut it down.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
So what your email reads to you?
Oh, he might have that technology.
I'm just saying because you can read an email and listen at the same time.
RNDA3 is out now, so I mean, y'all, we got all types of
RNDA3.
Oh man, Lady Infamous with the Embers, she said, "Wow." Anyway, so 100. Give me your thoughts about this, man. I mean, give it all to me, man. What do you think is going on with Naughty Dog? Do you believe that it could be a hacker because of this new article that just came out today? Do you think it's an inside job? What the hell is going on? Why would somebody leak this if they, would a hacker have that type of access and not expose themselves? I mean, normal hackers do that. They normally come out and say, hey, I did this shit, but it's been completely quiet. Do you believe Sony when they say that they know who the people are and that they didn't work for Sony or Naughty Dog? Give it all to me.
All right, man. Some answers y'all might like and some answers I might don't like. The leak thing, I really don't give two about it. It happened. My thing is you should have the security game up. You know what I'm saying? When you a big company like that, you somewhere like Naughty Dog, you work for Sony. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first time Sony got hacked or some thing got hacked before.
Well,
so my thing, you stepped your game up. You didn't learn from the first time. So for one is all hackers don't tell on each other. They might sell it. Mm-hmm. They don't say I did it. The young bucks do it, and they do it for clout to see like, hey, you can see what I'm doing. But no, the real ones, if they hack something, you're doing it. And like I said, if you hack it, that means your network infrastructure is not on point. That means Joe Blow. You might get lucky, and type in somebody name 1234 Naughty Dog, and that might be somebody passcode, and they got in. People showing it off. Some people know the risk that they taking when they showing that stuff off. They getting flagged. Like, is it cool to do it? Nah, it ain't too cool. But that's what goes down. You know what I'm saying? And people want to blame if Naughty Dog is this and did Naughty Dog that. Who leaked it? Who cares who leaked it? It's leaked. It's already done for it. So it don't matter who does it. They talking 1 minute it was somebody from Naughty Dog, now it's for somebody else. They're just trying to save face. So attorney told them to deny everything. It's probably finna go into litigation. But you're not gonna hear after when Sony said what they said, you won't hear from Sony talk about this no more. You won't hear from Naughty Dog.
You think it's going to get shut down now?
It's going to get shut down. When it goes in litigation, you can't talk.
Do you think they actually found the
No, I don't think they found them, but sometimes you got to play the PR thing, and you just got to say, I found somebody, or you're going to blame it on somebody. Somebody's going to be the scapegoat.
Well, it sounds like it's hackers that's the scapegoat. Sounds like it sounds like it's the hacker that the hacker or hackers.
For one, it's no hackers, and I'm finna sit there if I'm going to hack it, for one is, if I hack and I say I got this, I'm going to Naughty Dog and Sony and I'm gonna hold their ass for hostage. I need this in the Swiss account and this is the type of money, or it's gonna get leaked and I'm finna go put this to the highest bidder.
That is a great point, because wasn't there somebody that tried to do that to a big
CD
chain?
Red.
Yeah, that said, I got this information, you got to pay me so much money. And this was also with something else that was outside of gaming, where somebody had some kind of information.
Wasn't it AMD too?
Yeah, AMD got hit, and somebody else got hit, and it basically
It was information leaked about the Xbox architecture.
right, and somebody asked for money. That's exactly what it was right there. So it was game related. But yeah, they offer money. So that's what I'm saying. PlayStation's biggest game to date, hacked, and this person didn't want no money. They don't want no recognition. They're pretty much is going to, if they are found, you mean to tell me that this person is just going to let themselves just to not be known, not leave a trace, not do anything? 100. I mean, talk to me, man. What the hell? Does this make sense to you? Dude, this makes sense to you?
No, it don't, because I'm gonna put this way. If I know something, I'm gonna hold you hostage. And think about it. If you don't give it to me, how many times celebrities get their phones hacked or their computers hacked and they get held for hostage? Or people saying that they got their nudes and they get hold and they need this money in this account. None of that. It was no threats. It was no threats to Sony. No threats. And then Sony all of a sudden want to come out with a release date and all this. I don't think Sony wanted to put that game out. Now, I saw one guy listen to today. He said, well, maybe it was a person that they was getting so crunched and people talk about it. They went to outside contractor to finish the game, to finish some part of the game.
Yeah.
And they under NDA and maybe they're going to get sued. You still got to prove it. And then they said the build that they were showing and they could go and see how many people have that built. That's not the truth, because I can have that built and I could have gave that to Joe Bone Blue or my cousin. Like, man, going to play this early. And my cousin sit there and play some games, play with it. Don't mean my name is on it. It's just a build.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. That to me is, y'all trust Sony with your information and all that other stuff. And y'all see, they can't even hold their own information together. You know, and people showing the whole game. I heard a lot of people disappointed about it. I didn't, the people I feel like, I heard this and I'm pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
And I said, dang, that's all I could say. Like, man, do you think do you think is it right? No, it's not right. A lot of stuff in life ain't right, but with protection, it's so much protection. If for one is people, I know you do say people like a hacker. Most of that stuff you don't even put on the internet. You get a VPN. You know what I'm saying? You go put it on the intraweb. You know what I'm saying? An interweb, not an intraweb, an interweb. And if they can't work from home off of it, you can go put it on a private server and do it. And your employees just have access to that server. You make all your employees get VPNs. I work for a law firm. Everybody got a VPN. We can't log in without a VPN. I gotta have a VPN on my phone. That's how you want to encrypt your information.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a joker. Somebody, like I said, somebody did it, and somebody was probably proving the point, like, hey, security and how we've been treated and all like this. Let's throw it out there. They think I'm playing.
So, 100. Do you think? I mean, okay, because there's a lot of people, including like our boy Chris in here. There's a lot of PlayStation fans that believe. And Rex, I need to ask you this too. Do you believe that there's been some kind of wrongdoing done to the employees at Naughty Dog?
Well, again, none of the information is out there, so we can't really judge. And I mean,
there's been a lot of developers that's taken shots once they left Naughty Dog, and then they had to shut up or they had to take it back. Amy Henny just said something just too long ago about this situation.
I don't know anything about that. All I've been doing is trying to keep things. Of course, I want to try to keep it related to the subject, which of course the only thing I found was, of course, with Jonathan Cooper. But
Right.
I mean, it could be similar to that. That's what my guess is.
Okay. All right. What about you, 100? I mean, you think that there's some wrongdoing going on with them?
I think people have been leaving that company for a while. Some people can't take the long hours. Some people's not, you said it, a lot of people, they set dates when you're making these games. You want to be here at this time. They make road maps, and they wasn't hitting the road maps, and you feel like some people, I heard some people, I talked to a guy, some people said that sometimes they feel obligated to stay. They feel obligated. So nobody's putting a gun to their head, but they boss said they want this and this and that. And then if you tell your boss, if you tell your boss you're working on a project and you said, I'm going to have this project done in February, now it's March, he going to say something like, well, what's going on? You said this and that. You need to explain to me why this. And so people and a lot of people can't handle pressure. Pressure ain't for everyone. And it's like a lot of people at Naughty Dog right now, the pressure is on them. It's crunch time. You know what I'm saying? It's the 2-minute warning. So, and they may had expectations that for that game that they was going to promise. And, it might I just thought about this to keep it real. It could have been the PlayStation 5 holding that game back. Because I believe when they said indefinitely, they was going to make that as a launch title.
Yeah, I've said that too. Yep.
And when that person, whenever this leak came, their cars was already out. They can't do it. They got caught with their pants down. Yep. But these employees, I got to, I don't like to use this analogy, but I'm kind of like on the people like on the pill, blaming pill cards before all this. Why you didn't say nothing at the time?
Good point.
If you getting abused at your job, it don't the law. I don't care what's on your contract. The law trumps your contract. So you getting abused, sexual harassment, all that. Why you ain't said nothing? You got an HR department. Your HR department can fire the boss.
But this is
he's like the doctor on the star.
But there is no like unions or anything like that. That's why
you don't need no union. You don't need no union to go to HR. What you need a union for?
Well, if HR is not going to, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I mean, you made a great point, but I'm just saying
it's other platforms. It's other platforms out here. This equal opportunity employer. It's a bunch of
but they ain't making that. They ain't making that Naughty Dog money. I mean, that ain't making no Naughty Dog money. What
you mean? If I go to an attorney and said I got, people will pick it up on GP, say, hey, I'm getting sexual, and you sit there and you document. That's why I tell people, anything you feel like you get done bad at your job, document it. Because I don't care if you scratched on a piece of paper, when you go to that and you got dates and times and this happened, they don't have nothing to say. You put them on. It's their term to prove that they did not do this. You got dates and times and all this. You're just not saying, "Oh, when I was in the break room, somebody pinched my butt." No. You wrote that stuff down, and you wrote it down, and you proved that you got this stuff wrote down, and it's documented. You got this and that, and you prove it, and you went to HR on this and this and that. Come on, you be owning Naughty Dog. I know I would. All right. But like I said, people, they have to do that type of stuff, and when they come out and just say something, all this and that, and whoop, yeah. They probably wasn't treating you right. They probably didn't do a whole lot of stuff. But don't just sit there. You stayed there long enough. So when you got your option to leave, you had your option to leave. Let's go. Old girl, she decided to go. A couple of other people decided to go. Just go. I mean, saying, if it's so bad, why you stay so long? And I don't want to hear it because I love the project. Fuck that project.
They've been working on the money and they've been putting their blood, sweat, tears, and time on it.
The thing about it is, I think you work for Naughty Dog. Don't put this way. It would not take that for them that hard to get another job.
Yeah, but you're not making.
They make money where they can start their own little indies.
Yeah, but they have to get the money first. That's the thing. They gotta wait.
They
for
getting
it.
the money because most of these people are on salary, and that's guaranteed money.
I don't know if they
some
on
of them
salary
get bonus. Some of them like to go get the bonus.
Don's in the chat. You got to let us know if people make salary. Maybe upper management. I don't know about.
Yeah, they make salary. Everybody's not on the clock.
I know the contractors don't.
Everybody's not on the clock. The janitor's on the clock.
Yeah. So, but
when you go sign a contract, don't mean you on the clock. You on the clock all the time. No, it's a lot of them. They get a base salary. This is what you get paid every 2 weeks. Okay. Especially when you're designing a game. They don't work hourly. They can go in if they want to go in for 4 hours and finish their job at home. Go finish the other 10 hours at home. They got options. They got options.
I don't know. You make it sound like it's too easy, but I don't know.
It is that easy. It's too many. I know it's too many people. I know people that work their own salary.
Yeah,
that's what when you start. If you're an intern or something, you might be on the clock.
Because, like I said, there's no union. That's why they're fighting for a union. Maybe that's different.
It's no union, but think about it. You don't need no union.
Bro.
Think about it. Some of them I heard they want a union because think about it is if you get a union, you're going to get base salaries. You're going to get base salaries. When I used to work for Lowe's, we wanted a salary. People were like, I want a union. It was like, if you guys want a union, when you came here and made $19 an hour, they ain't having it. That person who come in gonna be making $7. You don't have the option. If I want to come hire UK maker, and I know you're a hard worker, and I needed another manager to have my back, and I'm like, what you want? You like, I want 25 off the bat. I can pay you that with no problem. Because I don't have to follow no guideline. When you get on, like my boy worked for Southwest, they had a union. Base salary when you first came in, you was making $8. But then a year later, you probably make 10. It'll go up. But you came out. But say if you was working for an airline like I was working for Frontier, and we were making $19-20, it's hard to go down to that. You had, you know what I'm saying? You got to pay for a union.
All right. I'll get back to you. We'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You was on your bloody. I like that though. I like that. You had a lot to say. There's going to be more. Brad, let me go to you now on this one. First off, do you believe what 100 is saying on the aspect of like the employee situation? And give me your whole thoughts about this whole Naughty Dog thing that's going on.
I think where there's smoke, there's fire, man. We've been talking about Naughty Dog and they're fucking over their employees for a long time now. This isn't the first instance of this. So, you see, I think the last numbers I saw, like they had like a 70% turnover and stuff like that. Like those people are leaving that place for a reason. And they're going to other places like the Initiative and other places like that because of whether it's the crunch or just the work conditions. I know we talked last week about when we were on the next podcast, we talked about quality of life and stuff like that. Like if you're not getting those things from your job and you see that other people are getting them in other places, one person leaves and goes to another place, you know what they're doing? They're reaching back to their friends. They're like, yo, dude, you need to come over here and holler at the Initiative because they're doing this. They have pizza parties on Fridays. Like, like they'll come over there, because they're tired of working and doing that crunch thing that they're doing over at Naughty Dog. So I think the leak thing and who actually did it, I think it's internal. I don't think that, whatever excuse Sony came up with, it doesn't make any sense to me based off the simple fact, you look at how things kind of transpired, like they indefinitely delayed the game, right? And so the leaks come out and all of a sudden they got a release date, right? So like that didn't make any sense to me. And then you look at the information that was actually passed on in the leaks. Now I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody watching who's trying to get away from it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah.
But that was an hour and a half of footage, and maybe even more. Like when I've seen
it was, yes, you're right.
When I've seen leaks,
and
it's
pinpoint at that pinpoint.
Yeah, they pick specific spots of that game to put out there, right? So like if when I've seen leaks before this one, because this is a totally different leak, when I've seen leaks in the past, it's not an hour and a half. It's not like the whole, like the narrative of the game. It's like, oh, here's a fight scene. or here's about 2 minutes of gameplay.
Mhm.
This wasn't 2 minutes of gameplay. This was like the whole plot of the game, basically. So like, so that wasn't something that someone leaked. They purposely chopped, screwed, and cut that shit up.
He said chop screwed. Uh-oh.
Specifically
This
from
was
Texas,
beat.
man. Specifically for for that purpose to put that out there. That was not.
Swisher House.
That was yeah, Swish House. Yeah, that was not. That was not like oh, here's a couple of minutes. That was a pinpoint tactical move for that person to do it that way. Absolutely. And so all these other bullshit narratives that they're getting thrown out there, like, oh, it wasn't a Naughty Dog employee. That like Hunter was saying, like they're trying to shut somebody up. And the thing is, like, Sony didn't address anything else but the leaker, right? They didn't address all the other shit that came with the fact that it got leaked, like all the reasons why it supposedly got leaked. They didn't address that.
Oh, that's a great point. You're right.
They didn't talk about that at all. They just talked about, oh, we found the leaker. It wasn't here in the okay. So now they're trying to distance themselves from not only the leaker being a part of Naughty Dog or Sony, they're distancing themselves away from the fact that all the stuff that other people were talking about, the reason for the leak was out there. So like that's bullshit. Like they're trying to get away from that whole drama when in reality, the shit's probably going on there and they don't want to be a part of it. Because they didn't address it. If you think about it, they never talked about, oh, well, we have the quality of life here at Naughty Dog. We're not, we don't do the crunch thing. We don't, like they didn't talk about, they didn't try to downplay any of that. They just straight went up to the leaker and said it wasn't a part of this Naughty Dog or the Sony camp. So like, bullshit. Like I'm saying, it's straight bullshit to me. Like I think that person worked for Naughty Dog or worked for Sony, and in one way, shape, fashion, or another, I don't know how all the gaming shit works out. Like people working from home and with people teleworking and stuff like that, they had to outsource some of that stuff to get the game out. Whatever, I don't know. It don't matter. In some way, at some point in time, that person was an employee of Sony. Some way, it don't matter how he got paid, who paid him. Some way, shape, fashion, or form, he was paid by Sony, and I think that like Sony trying to distance themselves is a really fucked up way for them to do the things they've done so far handling this situation. Like it's all this is mishandled. Now, at the end of the day, I think the game is going to sell. I don't think the leaks ruined the game at all. It might have ruined the story, because could you imagine, like, for the people who actually saw the leak and watched it, like, had you played through that the first time and saw all that shit happen, like, you'd have been like, oh, wow, this is like a great storyline. But now all the other narratives have been thrown in there. The leaks came out. The narratives have been thrown in there, like, of why people are hating the game and why people are pissed off about the leaks and the way the story's going. Like, it might deter some people from buying it, but I think as a gamer, if you really want the game, you're gonna buy it anyway. So I wouldn't give it too, like, you so pissed off about the leak itself. I mean, like, you're still gonna buy the game if you've already made your mind up to buy this game at this point, to be honest with you.
Now, let me ask you another question, Fred. This whole thing, and I forgot to ask 100 and Rat Rex about this as well. Why do you think Sony and Naughty Dog are out here shutting people's channels down? I mean, there's been countless YouTubers, and the fact of it is, it's like the game, because of the leaks, a lot of people are slamming the hell out of it. I mean, because I was sitting here telling Lemon about it. I was telling 108 Dragons about it because he didn't know what the hell was going on. And when I just told him the parts because he wanted to know, he was like, oh, hell no. And that is what so many people are getting. They got this same mind process of it without, spoiling it or anything. But when people are giving out, not spoiling the game, but just giving out their thoughts about the issues within it, and then you have Sony and Naughty Dog shutting people's YouTube channel down when they're doing it the right way. What do you think about that?
I think they're shutting it down. I'm like, okay, so imagine if this was the next Halo and this came out, right? I would expect Microsoft to do the same thing. They don't want it to get leaked any more than it, like damage control, in a way where it's like you want to silence people from talking about the game because you want people to actually experience the game. Like I don't want a game ruined that I really want to play. I'll still play it regardless, but I kind of know the plot of what's going to happen at some point in time because it got leaked. But like, if they can control that and say, it's like with everything going on with the virus now, right? So like, you try to minimize as much information that's being put out there, minimize the impact, right? So you make everybody you put everybody in this bubble so they don't hear anything or see anything. And the same thing they're going to do with this game. If we take away what's being put out there, people only know what little bit has been leaked, because the thing is, if they allow it to continue, it's going to get worse.
No, Fred, this is what they doing, Fred. They doing some fugazi. This is some gazy shit they doing. They're flagging people's channels, just talking about it, not showing no gameplay, no nothing. They just talking about it, like we talking about it.
Yeah.
They're flagging channels.
Like when I upload this, they can flag the shit out of it because they want to. They're giving people copyright flags.
Because they want to make sure they control everything.
But how can you give somebody a strike over their opinion?
But you can't. Yeah, not without. Yeah, if you leak the information,
you can't. They're not showing no pictures.
But they're not showing no pictures or anything.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying what they're doing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying what they're doing and why they're doing it.
But see, that's the game. That's what people ain't. That's what a lot of people's not talking about. They talking about these leakers. What about if you got a YouTube channel and you just sitting there and you just report this? For example, we'll throw out, because I listen to him every now and then. Spawnway. He ain't got hit, but he talk about it. But thinking about it with him, he got 500 channels. So if one of them get hit, this one guy got 4 of his channels got hit. One of them was for a minute and 21 seconds saying, hey, Last of Us 4, you guys don't want to get spoiled by, don't, you know what I'm saying, this and that. They hit that whole network. But the only thing I liked about the guy was he said, I ain't going nowhere. And I'm going to do it until they knock me down. But when you, like I say, he said, I can't go live no more because of this one strike that you just giving your opinion. So how can you strike somebody? I thought we live in America. I thought we had a freedom of speech.
They're not sitting there and listening to the entire podcast.
Not
they're looking
YouTube,
at. Yeah,
I listen to the guy.
You do. I'm saying Sony isn't. They're not sitting here listening to.
Well, Sony, but think about it. But see, that's when YouTube and Twitter needs to get put on blast, because how can you allow these people to strike your people's
just
channel?
Just saying Last of Us 2 on your page.
Well, the one thing. I will say this 100. Maybe everything will come ahead and be resolved once everybody at YouTube can get back to work normally.
Oh no, they got told YouTube. No, YouTube told them.
Oh, you doubt it, Rex? Oh, okay.
Look, okay.
Oh, I don't know.
I need to
like
talk about
this all the time.
I have the most knowledge over this because I follow everything that goes down on YouTube.
Okay.
So Sony isn't the first company to actually try this. A lot of companies have done this before in the past, and it fucking sucks. So I am fucking blasting Sony for this because their actions are shitty, and honestly, this isn't gonna end. These companies have been doing this shit on YouTube for years. They've been abusing the copyright system for years, so it's not going to end. But they just want to try to control the narrative. They just want to try to control it and silence anybody that's talking about, of course, The Last of Us.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. That's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what. To me, there's so many problematic things within this. I don't know which one to point out to be the most. To me, that probably is the most egregious than anything, is to try to shut people's voices down when they're... Listen, if people are pissed off about how your story and plot is, then they're pissed off about it. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know maybe Microsoft may have tried to do it. You're absolutely right. Every company has tried to shut people's mouths one way, shape, or form. But I didn't see people's channels get flagged when they were disrespecting Halo 5 story. People you know what I'm saying? Xbox had to eat it. So, look, if the people aren't resonating to this story and they're not going against the rules and not leaking out the what's within the story and things like that, then that's just basically Sony just trying to tell people, look, we don't want to hear no negative press. Look, I know that there's a lot of stands that kiss Sony's ass to the utmost degree. I get it. But you can't do that to the, I mean, they're doing it, but there's going to be serious repercussions later down the line, I feel, if they keep continuing to do it, because that's where I think where Sony is going to get hit is by the treatment of what they're doing to their own fans, to their own customers. I don't know. Do you guys think I'm wrong about this?
Hell no.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Fred. You can go ahead and finish what you was going to say.
No, I was done. I was
Okay.
done.
All right. Cool. All right. So let me go to you. Let's see. Operations. What's your thoughts, man? Give me the T on everything. The Last of Us 2, man.
Good God, bro. Where do we start? Like, just
That's what I'm saying.
like literally, this has been a snowball effect since it started, which is crazy. Like, it got worse every day. Like, what was like the first thing that came out? Like, the plot got leaked. Spoilers come out. I'm not gonna say no details because I'm not gonna be an asshole and spoil the story for somebody. But
Right.
like, that comes out. Then after that, more of the leaks come out at this point. Now we have like an hour and a half video of key plot points now, on top of like the 20 minutes that we already have at this point. The leaks. Like, this is a regular developer bullshit. This is espionage at this point. They like, from a story standpoint, they killed the game for a lot of people. Now, of course, saying this, I doubt this will affect sales that much. If it does, it'll be crazy. It may be a wake up call for Naughty Dog at this point, but I don't think that will happen. But like, I do believe it's still gonna sell well. But the PR surrounding the game right now is just abysmal at this point. Like, this is just disgusting. Like, it's crazy. And after the leaks came out, then people, of course, are outraged on Twitter saying people they don't want to buy it no more. They're pissed off at this point. Like, woke culture's not getting on top of them. The anti-PC culture's getting on top of them right now. Like, they can destroy on YouTube. Like, people doing videos about not only the copyright strikes are taken down, but like just the plot points of the game and how on the nose it is at this point. Like, I know Kids Movie had an issue with the Christian cult in the game because it's really on the nose and hyperbolic compared to other cults in video games, as far as I can tell, for what I played at this point. Me as a Christian, it doesn't bother me. Like, I'm used to cults at this point. Like, Far Cry 5, I believe, was a Christian cult. It wasn't as hyperbolic as Last of Us 2 is right now, but like, I enjoyed the hell out of that story. It was one of my favorite game of that year. It didn't bother me at this point. But some people, they have an issue with that, which I kind of understand. But this game just doesn't feel like a game. It feels like an agenda pushing from standpoint. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it's like, it feels so damn hollow. Just looking at that stuff. But I'm just gonna leave the story points alone. But like, it's just crazy, man. And like, after more of this came out, people were saying they don't want to buy the game, whatnot, outrage, whatever. Because we already know people out there are saying they don't want to buy it now. Most of them probably weren't going to buy it in the first place. Like, let's be real.
Right.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely a lot of people that's jumping on the bandwagon, and they're not even probably gamers, and so they're probably just now hearing about The Last of Us. So yeah,
Right.
that's absolutely right. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then we got more rumors saying like the reason why these were leaked, saying because disgruntled employees were getting paid at this point. Then another rumor came from that saying that allegedly Leonard withholding their final cut, or like some kind of bonus they'll get based off of sales. I believe, I don't remember the specifics of that.
It was basically that because Sony delayed the game indefinitely, that they basically was not going to get their ending bonus until the game was going to be released. And so,
right. So it looked like Sony were trying to do that intentionally to not pay them at that point, which is fucked up. That's what it looks like. But then that's just.
Can I bring something up? Can I bring something up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was this other leak that came out, or rumor, of course, that this also could have been caused because the politics going on in Naughty Dog, that some people may have disagreed with the Christian cult, of course, at Naughty Dog. So I don't know if that holds any truth to it, but it could be, because I know some people have really been attacking Neil Druckmann for his views on Anita Sarkeesian, of course, because he says that, because of course Neil Druckmann states that a lot of his influence came from her. So
yeah, that was the scary part. But
yeah, so I think it could also be from that too.
You're definitely right, Callie. Like, there's so many different rumors we're getting each day. Like, it's really hard to say what caused what at this point. But like, if you go back to Jason Schreier's article releasing, I think earlier this year, we actually get interviews. Huh?
Just about a month ago.
Yeah, of course. This is really recent. His interview with either developers still at Naughty Dog, or I believe ex-Naughty Dog developers as well.
So both. It was supposedly some both there and some that left.
Okay, so based off of their testaments and their testimonies, pretty much, this seems plausible. The issue is what part of it is plausible at this point. Either they're disgruntled about being paid, which might be true because even Jonathan Cooper, who previously worked there, they almost try to finesse his ass when he tried to leave at that point. Like, they wanted to withhold his final cut from him. Legally can't do that shit, and they finally bent the knee and gave his money. Them being disgruntled about their pay, that seems pretty plausible. on the other side is them, like as far as political views within the company, because I think the rumor said that there are people who disagree with the direction of the game going, and they're kind of like not necessarily shunned, but what was the proper word they use in it? It's almost like there's cancel culture within the studio at this point. So like if you disagree with the views that they're having about the game, you could pretty much go be discriminated at that point, or just try to get shoved by the other employees there. If that is true,
that's a great point too. Because listen, I mean, we all work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, I don't know about Cali Rex, but I mean, I know everybody else works. We have jobs, and there is now one person on this panel that can tell me that they haven't seen any type of discrimination. Let me not try to get too big because I'm drinking on this hand. Discrimination towards a certain type of group. Because listen, you know what I'm saying? I the field that I work in, it's constant. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's constant. And then somebody would probably tell me, well, why are you still working there? Well, hell, the money's good. And because this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? And they don't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And I'll point it out to them when they do something foul to somebody else. I got that because I can, you know what I'm saying, because I've been there for so long. I'm sure Lemon, you know what I'm saying, prayed for what he was doing. I mean, there's certain things now. I'm pretty sure you couldn't go and say that to a general or some shit, but you know what I'm saying, or admiral or nothing. But there's certain levels of command that you can let yourself be expressed, and then people won't even fuck with you or won't even mention these type of things. But you are fully aware that there are problems, that there's toxic environments in almost every workplace. It's just how toxic is it? You see what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like you should be allowed to just be able to disagree with someone at your workplace right now. But the issue is with the way I guess society is going right now is certain viewpoints are kind of being forced on you, and if you disagree with them, you're kind of labeled as the enemy at this point. But look at the whole LGBTQ incident going on right now. Not incident, but LGBTQ I guess movement going on right now. If publicly, if you come out and say you're against it at that point, you're immediately labeled as homophobic by either a good portion of that community or people outside of it who support them at this point. And we know that homophobia means a fear of them, not a disagreement. So people are pretty much creating their own definition at this point and using it against them just to push their own narratives, which seems like it's happening in Naughty Dog as well. And that's pretty much fucked them too as well. But going from there, just like, it's like so much shit. I'm trying to make sure I can keep track of all of it. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, I'm gonna do a playthrough, and like I said, you know what I'm saying, come back to everybody, or like if you miss a point, and then you know what I'm saying, if somebody brings up something that you're like, oh, just say it. You know what I'm saying? Just say, hey, I just want to say something. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but this whole situation is just grimy, man. Because like now they're doing takedowns, people's channels, videos, whatnot, just for even talking about the rumors at this point. They're even doing discussions about it, which is bullshit. Because they're really abusing copyright strikes at this point. And yes, Callie point, good point. Companies have done this in the past, and some are still doing it right now. And we got to be more on top of calling them out as well, because some do fly beyond my radar at this point. So I have to get better at that. But like, there really has to be a change with the legalities of this whole situation, which is going to be difficult because there's a lot of nuances in copyright law at this point. So it's going to be a tough battle, but we got to take a stand, just do and try to change from here on out, because like it's pretty going to get worse from here on out. Because like Nintendo, like for the last couple of years up until recently, you weren't allowed to upload content of their video games unless you're partnered with them, and they got cut from your revenue at that point. Mm-hmm. Which yes, they're legally allowed to, but at the same time, like it's fucked up to the content creators and doesn't really help them at that point, because now they're at that point they're kind of stifling their own advertisement or free advertisement of their games at this point. Because there's a lot of people who enjoy and love playing Nintendo games, and they either stream or upload them to YouTube. And that's how they pretty much grew their community. It's got a lot of people into those games as well. But then Nintendo was trying to control and curate who gets uploaded videos. It hurt them. It hurt their viewership. And people kept fighting it for over years. And thankfully, they finally changed it. I believe if they did change it. I think they did, if I remember correctly. But yeah, man, this is a grimy situation. Of course.
They didn't really change it.
They didn't? Oh, well, I guess my information's wrong then. So we still got to fight that then. But like, this is just terrible, man, if this is true. Because again, for record, because people call me an Xbox fanboy or whatever, which I'm not denying, but none of this is confirmed.
He said I'm not denying it.
But none of this is confirmed. But look at the whole entire situation as a whole, and just removing confirmation bias from it, and just looking at the snowball effect, it seems very plausible right now. Because they even try to fuck over some of the higher up developers, Jonathan Cooper, So if they did that to him, what makes you think they won't do that to a higher to the contractor work at this point? Like for them, it's free game at this point. So it's just sad, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let me go to you, 108. What what what's your thoughts, man? I mean, it's a mess, right? No, 108 went to sleep. He's gone forever. All right, let me go to you, PK. What's your thoughts, man?
So first I would like to say that I don't believe leaks were from a hacker. Okay, I worked in security a long time, and if it was a hacker,
Oh,
a
okay.
lot
Well,
more.
yeah, but break that down. Why? Okay, so break that down for a second for me. I did forget about. I did forget about that. Yes, you
So
are. Why do you don't think that it's a hacker? You know how hackers operate. So, what would be their tendencies and things like that?
well, typically hackers are motivated either by money or politically, right? So um, there's no one claiming any. Like when Sony got hacked before, there was groups who claimed that fame, that they did it.
Mhm.
There was no one claiming this, so it wasn't politically motivated, and it wasn't um, uh, monetarily motivated because no one's.
You sound
It
a little
doesn't
low.
seem like
You sound a little
it
low.
doesn't.
Yeah, there you go.
So basically, you know how ransomware works, right?
Right.
They basically take over you. They basically encrypt your whole hard drive, and you have to pay them. I see that being a more plausible incident than a hacker, quote unquote, because again, a lot more would be compromised than just a script and some video clips. There will be financial information, all kinds of things that will be more important and more financially motivated than a leak for a video game. All I'm saying is that just for that particular thing to be leaked, I strongly believe it was personal. It looks and when you look at the leaks, it looked like it was personal because it was very specific on what exactly they highlighted, right?
Mhm.
But there is this type of leak happened before last year and I know this is not game related, but when Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker's whole entire synopsis was leaked.
I do remember
Even the
that.
ending was leaked. The whole thing. And it wasn't a hacker, it was someone inside who was not happy with whatever the situation
Well,
was.
that's a great point.
Oh, that was over the politics. I can confirm that.
Well,
Oh,
regardless,
see?
but
Oh, boy.
regardless of what their reasoning was, it was someone in the inside who was not happy with what the situation, and they decided to react and retaliate. And that's what this appears to be too, the similar behavior. Now, a lot of people didn't want to believe the leaks, but when the movie came out, was it not one for one everything that they put on the internet?
I haven't
It
seen the movie.
was.
I haven't seen it, so yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Oh.
you had to see it, but I'm saying people confirmed and they were disappointed that it was one for one. They didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to believe that they changed the story that much, but it happened. Now, do I believe that people will still go buy the movie? Well, just like people still want to go see Star Wars, yeah, they still buy it. Will it hurt some of the sales? Well, yeah, because a lot of people are disappointed and upset. But I still feel like if people made up their mind they're going to buy the game, they're going to buy the game. I mean, to me, I don't think a leak is going to stop you from buying something you enjoy.
I
If you
totally agree.
truly
That's why I
enjoy it.
didn't even ask about the sales aspect of it because I mean,
But
to me, that part is irrelevant.
Yeah, but see, think about it is if you put out something that you didn't want to put out, it's like you putting on a rush product now. If it ain't done, how many people gonna be looking for
Well, that's
bugs?
why they
You're putting on
changed the
you
date, like you said.
Yeah, they went to saying indefinitely. You
Right.
forgot they used the word indefinitely. That
Yeah.
means it has no date.
Right. They were
So
just gonna make it a launch
when
title.
this leak went down, they had to they it's like I told you, it's like you cut the lights on and they saw all the roaches and the rats. I saw this room, so you can't do nothing. You ain't got nothing but to put it out. And look how fast they did it. It wasn't even 24 hours of time. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, Sony did it like, yeah, what was it, a day or two? It was so quick.
It was quick. So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
thing is that
So hold on. What's another point that nobody hasn't addressed? I don't think anybody thought about it because all the other stuff is that Sony was over here blaming the pandemic of why the game was being delayed.
So
Remember
all of a
that?
sudden the game
Remember that?
Oh,
Remember that? They were the ones that. Remember,
Mhm.
I got all that heat, Mega.
They said
You,
they wasn't gonna have enough hard copy.
yeah,
They don't
they
have
were.
enough
They
hard
were they
copies
were
and stuff
saying
like
that the
that.
pandemic was slowing the game down. I told you guys what the devs at Naughty Dog said. They said the game is already ready to go. They you know what I'm
But
saying?
now
Now,
Naughty
yeah,
Dog came and said that the game was already ready.
yeah.
Now they coming out and said, yeah, the game is ready. We just need to touch up some things, this and this and that. Now they're saying that the game is ready. No, you just said the game was done for indefinitely. That's what I'm thinking that, well, Sony was like, hang on, let's hold this game back. So when we bring out our PlayStation 5 and we can showcase this game running on the PlayStation 5 and how good and stuff that it looks and how the hardware is taking the benefits of it, you can't do that no more. So and they're not doing what X. And a lot of people ain't catching this too. They're not doing what Xbox do. If you buy one game, you buy it on the X or on the S, you ain't got to pay for it no more, and you get the new version.
Oh yeah, the
They're
smart
not talking about.
delivery. Yeah.
They're not talking about doing that. That's what Sony is good for. See, Sony was, remember, you got the Last of Us on PlayStation 3, and then you got the Ultimate Edition on PlayStation 4,
It
and
really
make you
wasn't that
buy it again.
ultimate, but it had a polish, but it wasn't that
But
ultimate.
make you buy it again. So I guess Sony was like, hey, we got to go back to our old thing. We was gonna make it a release. So now we don't know what other games that they can showcase and to show the power off. They can say this is the different versions of the Last of Us, but we already saw it.
You might be right. Go ahead, PK. You go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you was gonna say.
oh, so like I said, I don't believe it was a hacker. I do believe it was an inside person who's maybe disgruntled. Like I don't forget who said, but it took the words out of my mouth. When there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh, prayer took that.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So typically, we done heard a lot of this same type of uh, information coming from this particular company for a while. And like Jonathan Cooper, I think his name, came out and said his piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? He didn't have to, but he did anyway.
Right.
Okay, he did anyway. Nobody asked him. He just came out and said these things, and he put his opinion out there. And my thing is, for someone to go that distance, to go in detail about his experiences, whether you believe it or not, something happened. Something is happening here that no one wants. And I understand when you get uh, severance packages, there's stipulations where you can't say certain things. There's definitely some non-disclosure agreements about what you can and can't say about the company you work for. But I do know for a fact that there's something happening that they don't want to talk about. That's why everyone is kept on a hush hush. There's not a lot of positive things being said, not by the parent company Sony or Naughty Dog. There's nothing positive being talked about because they're too busy trying to put out the fires. And I know that from experience. When you have stuff like that going, you can't concentrate. You should be getting in front of it, but it's hard to when you can't plug the holes, when you're trying to put out the fires. And all I'm saying is, when you look at uh, the leaks, it looked very personal. It looked very passionate, very specific on the deconstruction to get to particularly ruin the game. They wanted to. They're motivated to ruin the game. They wanted to hurt either Naughty Dog or Sony. One of the two. They wanted to hurt them. That's what the motivation was. It wasn't monetary. It was not political. It was just to get back. It was like some sort of revenge game. That's what it appears to me. I don't know if I may be wrong, but it's too particular. And yes, there are silos in pretty much every job you go to. There are silos, groups, cliques, whatever you want to call it. But that's and sometimes if you're not with the status quo, there is no matter if you go to HR or not, they're gonna side with the managers. They're gonna side with the people in charge.
Right.
And if you live in an at-will state, they can make up anything to fire you. So it doesn't matter.
That's a great point. You're absolutely right, especially if you don't have a union to back you.
Yeah, so that at the end of the day, that doesn't matter as much when you work it in that kind of field when it's crunch. You are on salary because there's no way in crazy hell they're going to pay you all that overtime to work on this game when they can save money and just pay you a salary and make you work for $7 an hour when you're working 60 plus hours a week on something. Um, I would say 70 hours a week, really, because I know how that is too,
Right.
and that's how salary gets you. But yeah, so far as this drama, this there's something real here, and regardless of if you believe what is put out or not, there's more behind closed doors than what we know about. I know that for sure. There's no way you can believe that everything's peaches and cream at Naughty Dog right now. You cannot believe that. Um, you got to believe that there is people are not happy with whatever happened. I mean, when you think about it, uh, and far as how the YouTube channels being struck, I mean, Nintendo did it too. When Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, and a lot of people was talking against it. They shut those videos down with the quickness. So it's not.
Nintendo's the Osiris of that shit. They're quick to do that
They,
all the time.
it's nothing new under the sun. So they do. So companies will do that if they can. They will. They'll try it no matter what. They'll strike stuff even if they don't have nothing to. If even they ain't got nothing to do with you, they'll strike it if it sounds like it. They literally got people lawyers looking at YouTube, just waiting to hit that button. Like so,
Damn,
it's
Nintendo, cold blooded.
I think it's versus the music companies that do this shit.
Oh yeah. There's definitely music.
Yeah, so it's not nothing new. They're not gonna stop, right? They're gonna keep doing. They'd rather go through the red tape than to and strike you now and go through the red tape later than to deal with the PR that can hurt their sales.
Right, because not a lot of people is going to lawyer up like some. I mean, the bigger channels, they got the capital to lawyer up. They probably already got like something in place. Smaller channels, if you write who knows what that can do. But yeah, you're right. For whatnot, I mean, for looking at it, if they flag somebody's channel, most people are probably not going to have lawyer representation to try to fight it, and then their people's channel is gone, and that also helps you too because they've been trying to nerf to get people shut down in the first place. So
Vegas, you gotta. I'll put it this way: if people start doing it, we gotta quit letting these people get away with this shit. I don't care if you use a pony, you're a bot, you're a weirdo, you're a PC gamer. We got to quit having them do it. If we all, that's the time I say come together. It's a time.
Yeah,
to
I saw that.
Well,
I say that's the time we come together when they start striking us for no apparent reason.
Right. No, I agree. It's not it's not cool. I mean, it's already like right now you have to monetize yourself now. I mean, if you on YouTube right now, you already know. Rex, I know you know. 108, you know what I'm saying? You haven't done a video in a while, but when you do, there's a whole bunch of changes that's going to be there waiting for you. And you'll be like, what the hell is
when
this?
you monetize on YouTube, you know what? Some channels get away with it and some channels don't.
Right.
Like if I say too many mother flood pluggers, you know what I'm saying? I might if I say more than 5 or 10, I've been looking at it. They'll say, hey, this is not this is not monetizable. It's gonna be limited until I hit them up and I said, why? And then I sit there with Joe Blow over here monetizing. He's saying F bombs every 5 minutes. And then they'll release it, but sometimes they don't. It's up to the thing. What I know, that's YouTube is their own. That's they own stuff and all this other stuff. But
it's not just YouTube, right? It's all the platforms that have that, right?
Yeah. Once the big money got in there, it became one of those things where it became corporate, and they want people to sound and act a certain way.
Yeah, but the thing about it, by then you're controlling my creative. Freedom. I can't even say the word freedom. Like I said, I'm not now. I know some things like if I'm playing music or something like that, I won't monetize that. If I'm having bone and dog, I know because it's gonna be a whole lot of crazy stuff gonna say. It said, don't monetize it. You know, I still get flagged on stuff that 4 or 5 years ago that me and Dog did, and I ain't asked for monetization. I ain't even asked to monetize it. That means somebody's looking. Somebody's on the alert. And see, that's the only thing you got to worry about, the people that's on alert. So that's just it's crazy that we live in this time. I remember people love YouTube. I know people YouTube can't. It got to be to a point where YouTube got to tell these people, I love your business, but you cannot do this to this person because this person, some of these persons, this is their full-time job. They didn't put money into their business and into this. This is their business. You shouldn't be able to just automatic say flag it.
Hold on,
All right.
100. Fred, yeah, you got anything else you want to add before you get out of here, man?
Yeah, real quick. Tomorrow, I'll see y'all next podcast. I'll be giving away a copy of Fallen Order at some point in time. I don't know when I'm going to drop it in the chat, but make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. And with that said, man, thanks for having me on the show. I'm sorry I kind of popped in last minute.
Well, no, it's no problem. You come in anytime, bro.
I got to get some sleep. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. So.
Oh yeah. Take your ass to bed. Yeah. So all right. Thanks for coming on and giving your point of view. You got one more last point you want to add before you get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm good. I already talked on this subject, so we're good to go.
Okay. All right. Holla at you, bro.
All right, man.
Damn. Cold-blooded. Anyway,
Later, y'all.
All right, man. Good night. All right. Go ahead, 100. Finish up, and then PK can finish what he was saying. Okay, PK, you can finish what you were saying, and then we can go on to if Lemon's back. If he's not, then I'll go to Slayer, and then Live.
So I just want to say I agree that they want to change to control the narrative because this ain't the first time Sony been in this kind of heat. I don't know if you guys remember when this, I think it was a 15-year-old who hacked the PlayStation 3, put Linux on there, and he put it up on his website, and Sony sued the 15-year-old, and he tried to shut him up, and he made him shut down his page just because it was his console, even though they said, well, you can't do this. I don't know if you guys remember that, but basically they tried to shut up anybody who was talking about it, especially them suing him, until he shut down his website. And the thing is, he was allowed to show people how to install Linux, but it was some sort of loophole saying it was their brand or something, even though it was his console.
Yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, PK, but somebody got onto you. They tripped out about your last part on Streets of Rage 4 not jumping in the hole.
Yeah, I figured it out. Please, just next time I'm gonna be gangster with it. Trust.
All
just
right.
bear with them now.
Just bear with it. This is his first time ever giving gameplay, so man, just let the man do his thing, man.
No one can let the guy go.
No. Somebody was like, "Who the hell's gameplay was that?" Nah, I'm not gonna claim that, but they what I'm saying. But yeah, no, it's PK Live's first time doing gameplay in live. You know what I'm saying? And there's been times if somebody be fraud in the public and say, "Oh no, I just go through games like with no problem." There's times that I'll get lost to do stuff like that too. So you're not.
Yo, real quick. Do y'all see the interview with Neil Druckmann gave a couple years ago, talking about misogyny and the issues within the gaming industry?
Yeah, that's what I brought up with.
Yeah, I remember it halfway.
Yeah,
that's the one I brought up with the Nina Sarkeesian thing.
Yeah, man, that thing was fucked. That dude's an asshole, bro. Like he called Cortana misogynistic.
Right. That I was waiting for somebody else to bring that point up too, because like I said, I was going to make my wave back around once I got everybody. If nobody didn't bring that point up, we'll talk about that too. Let me go to because I don't know. I don't, Lemon, are you there yet? He probably knocked out. Knowing him, he probably knocked out. He probably took that.
He probably took 6 total. No, got knocked out.
Yeah, he took that sleeping pill. He gone. Anyway, so. Yeah, he gone. So, all right, so let me go to Live now, and then I'll go to you, Slayer. Live, what is your whole thoughts about this situation, man? I know you've been listening to what everybody else has been saying, but bro, like, I mean, do you believe that it's a hacker? Do you believe this whole point that people that it's an inside job, like most people think, because it does seem a little personal. I mean, yeah, give me your whole thoughts about this whole situation, man.
That's a good question. It's you know what? Right now it's just so much of a conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just looking at it, I could see it being somebody inside. I mean, that's very possible. But it could also be a hacker, maybe not necessarily a good one. You know, because I know Bones, like you were saying, how like Either somebody's going, they want recognition or money. But I mean, dude, we've been been in this gaming community for a while. There are a lot of immature people in this community. Not to say that there aren't immature people everywhere, but maybe there is somebody who doesn't like Naughty Dog for whatever reason and found a way to hack. I'm not saying that could have happened, but I wouldn't put it past anybody. 'Cause, bro, we done seen some crazy stuff over the years. So for us to be like, nah, that would never happen. Nobody would ever do that. You'd be surprised. We seen dude have sex with a PS4 in the store. So anything's possible, dog.
Anything is possible.
So-
Damn, man. Every episode, you just gotta go laugh.
But he's right. There was a person that did.
No, he's right, but I mean the way he got
They
it
went
said, like,
into the
damn.
Walmart and they made.
That's
They
okay. I don't want to relive this in my
sweet
mind. Please, I saw the
love,
video. Come on,
Sweet
stop.
love to they PlayStation 4.
Yeah, look, I mean,
You
it
don't
could
allow
be
me to
anything.
go there.
Look, yeah, it could. Well, hey, man, that's just the way I talk on a regular though. But like I said, man, anything's possible. I mean, it. The funny thing is, it could be something super petty. You'd be like, really, you did all this for that? Like, this mother ate my sandwich, yo. Fuck that. And just leak the shit. Be like, yo, this is all over a sandwich? Goddamn right. My mama made me a sandwich. Like, you just never know, bro. Just never know.
All right. I mean, you was pretty quick on that, but all right. Okay, cool.
I mean, because you know what it is, I'm more interested in the mindsets of the people that are upset about the leaks more than who actually leak.
That is a great point. That's why I've been listening to a lot of YouTube and watching and reading blogs and I mean I've been all over it this week. Like so like people just have this small mind of thinking, well, this little small particular group that always says that Sony can't do no wrong is and that people are just going to buy this. They're going to buy 16, 20, 30 million copies of this game. You better look around, man. There are a lot of hot people over this game, and really the you know what I'm saying. I mean, to see so many people angry by it. See, I didn't get the connection with the game like others did. Because I played about 6 hours of it, maybe 6 to 10. I don't think I did 10. I know I did 6. I did 6 hours, and I played it on the hardest difficulty, which was difficult. So maybe that probably was one of my problems of why I didn't get so immersed into it. But it was just one of the things like, but I do know the feeling when you get locked up behind a character or characters, and then something is, and then changes happen, and then you're pissed off about it. I do get it. I just don't know. I mean, I just don't know if diehard PlayStation fans understand, how upset that a lot of people are over this.
But you know what? My whole thing that I noticed is it's not one thing. Like, all right, when people were pissed off about Halo, right? It was really usually one thing that they were mad. Well, maybe two, but mostly it was just, well, we don't play with Chief enough. That was the main overall issue people had with Halo 5, right?
That was one of the main reasons. Yeah, they were saying the plot of the story.
The other one was like they said they didn't like Locke because he was born, right?
Because he was black.
Really,
Yeah.
Right,
but again, that really stemmed from the fact that people didn't get a chance to play with Chief, right?
Right.
Because they never said any of the other people we played with in Halo were like, yo, the Armorer, he was so interesting. No, he wasn't. His story was interesting. Him himself, he was not interesting. Like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, it's no different. The only difference between Locke and Chief is we know more about Chief, especially if you've read the books. Obviously, you know a lot more about Chief. But if you only played the game, you only know the shit that he's actually been through. You don't really know that much about him. They never really did a deep dive about him in the games themselves.
No, and that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people like, hey,
Let's be honest here. I have nothing against the Chief in Halo 1 through 3, but if you sit back, look at his script throughout those games, it's very basic.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
it's
he's
very
not,
very 80s,
bro. He's a soldier.
early
He's like,
90s
look, I'm
movies.
going
Yeah,
to kill.
Yeah,
one-liners and he kicks ass.
and there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that, but at the same
he's not
time, like
emotional.
you
Like
Jesus.
can
think
pick and choose
about it.
if I'm bored or
Like
not.
he
Have
make it.
that
Like,
listen.
this is the whole thing. If somebody told you, like as of right now, what's Chief's sexuality? Don't nobody know. People assume he's heterosexual, but to be honest, I don't even know if he likes anything. He loves
Canonically, they
Cortana.
kind of lose that. They kind of
He
lose that. What's
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going by the fact of you play Halo, you don't read no lore. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You're not reading books. You just off of playing the game.
Well,
He's a soldier.
he's into AIs, so he's into
Yeah, that's what
he's
I'm
into
saying.
computer
The
love.
thing
So.
he loves more than the most in his life is Katana, and it's not a sexual thing. It's a friendship. You know what I mean? That's it. Like you don't. There's no like sexual
No, that's
orientation
sexual
really.
thing. Cause I'm gonna put it this way, it wasn't just no
Okay,
friend.
now we're
Bro,
going
he's
left.
not about to have
Let's go
sex
Yeah,
left.
with Katana, bro.
Let's pull it.
he gonna go into the
Let's
matrix.
pull it back.
Oh
Let's
man,
pull
this
it.
guy
Let's pull it
he
back. Let's
going
pull it
demolition
back.
man on us.
Let's pull
This
it
guy.
back. Let's pull it back. All right. So stay on to the point of The Last of Us 2 live.
I mean, she did create a body for him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
Okay.
no, yeah, but like I was saying, I think you got the people that are upset about the religious thing. Okay,
Right.
you got people that are upset about the character progression and
Just put it as
I would say
progression.
evolution,
Yeah,
their
evolution.
evolution,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And, and with that whole thing, and I think that's what most people are upset with more so than the whole sexuality thing. I think that they're looking at these characters and they're like, this doesn't. It's not even so much that it's not. It's not that the characters don't act the way they're supposed to act because they obviously do. It's just that the situations that they're gonna put these characters in, and the light that they're gonna shine on these characters. You know what? You know what they're trying to do? They're Bill Cosby in them. That's what they're doing.
Oof.
They
Yeah.
trying. That's what they're
I've heard
basically
that
doing.
before too. So.
They're gonna Bill Cosby him, right? That's the whole thing. And in doing that, you're sitting there like, yo, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I know you're telling me this story, and it's a great story, but like it makes me sick to my stomach
Right. Like
because it's like it's a fall
it's
from
like to
grace
the
that
point to me.
just kills me, man.
Yeah, it's like to point to me like when somebody told me the whole plot of the Book of Eli. I mean, when somebody they only told me one thing about the Book of Eli,
Oh,
which
you
was
didn't get to experience
I didn't get to
the
experience
movie first.
myself.
Oh yeah, that hurts.
It hurt me. It hurt me.
Yeah,
It
that
still
hurts.
hurts me. So people are going to the people who know about these leaks. That's their Book of Eli. They already
Yeah,
know how this plays out, and it's not something that they want to find out, and that sucks, and that
yeah,
sucks. So it's basically one of them things where, um, it's a sucker punch to the gut to because I mean I wouldn't like it if they did that to Halo or to any of these games that's supposed to be coming out or Cyberpunk or something like that, but it's also one of those things to me is like there's blame to go around, and
yeah,
I haven't seen anybody really actually point the finger at nobody but just the leaker, and I think it goes a lot deeper than that. What do you think, Live?
yeah. But like, I think I would equate this to being like this, right? Remember Gears of War 3
Mm-hmm.
when Dom dies?
Yeah.
Imagine if in the in the game Dom dies, and then they turned around and said, "Well, he deserved it because he raped his wife." That's how a lot of people I've heard that were talking about the game they felt. They felt like you're disrespecting these characters the way you're talking about them, like they're being portrayed in this game. And that's the thing I think that people are really like pissed off about. It's not about the sexuality. I'm telling you, like playing that game, bro. Like from what I'm hearing, and I'm gonna still buy it. I'm gonna still play it. But I'm telling you, going in, I'm feeling kind of like upset about the fact that, and I'm not even a PlayStation dude, bro. like I'm just a casual. Like this is like a game I was always gonna buy because it's a big game for PlayStation. But like going in, like knowing this, man, it's gonna hurt, bro.
Oh
It
yeah,
just
it's
is.
gonna hurt. It's gonna
It's just
hurt.
gonna hurt.
No, no doubt. No doubt. You're absolutely right. It is. No, I mean, like I said, I do feel bad for everybody involved. I feel bad for the developers. I feel bad for Naughty Dog. I feel bad for Sony. I feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for the. I mean, because if the I will feel bad for the leaker if they are doing it because they're wronged and nobody listened to them. If the rumors about that is true and then what Sony gave was just bullshit, then I feel bad. If it's a hacker, then I don't feel bad for him because then
How
you just
the hell you say you feel bad for these people? That's their fault.
no. I feel bad because look, I mean, just think about this. There's a lot of people that works at Naughty Dog that didn't even know this shit happened until the day that it happened. Like they over here ready to get their check. You know what I'm saying? They already tripping about this or whatever that, and then they're ready to get this. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this game, and then all of a sudden, one or two, a few individuals that were upset about something leaked this game out. I feel for them. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's like I said, the only way that I don't feel for the leaker is if they're a hacker. If they're just a random hacker. If Sony is telling the truth, but. Because then that's just some asshole that's just being an asshole. But but just like everybody else has said, like we're gonna get to Slayer here next, but everybody else is kind of equating to the point that it is, except for Rex, he thinks that it is a hacker, but mostly everybody else is thinking this is somebody else. This is internal. This is something to make a point. Like I said in my video. This seems almost like a woman scorn. This almost seems like this is a woman that did this because somebody is scorning this. Like if you treat a woman bad like that, that's some type of shit a woman would do to you. Like you know what I'm saying? To be meticulous and go through every little intricate part to make sure that you are hurt. That's somebody that's scorned. And that's how I look at it. Like, I mean,
well, why you feel bad?
Because these people put all this work and time and money in this shit. This is horrible for them.
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Keep it a buck.
I had to talk with a couple of friends on my way home from work. They hit me up and we was talking about it.
All right, Mike, you a fool.
And I said, yeah, you can feel partial bad, but it didn't hurt my soul. It didn't stop my day. I wasn't angry about it. Because at the end of the day, that's Naughty Dog and that's Sony. What about these people might lose their job? When did a developer came and helped my ass when I was going to get ready to get laid off?
I got you on that.
I think that's how I think in that way when people be passionate saying.
I got you 100, but come on, bro. Listen, the thing, I mean, you don't have any sympathy for, do you have any sympathy for anybody in this situation?
I'll put this way. It's a bad situation.
Okay.
But it's worse. It's just other things in the damn world going on.
I know. We got the pandemic. That's way worse. I got you, but I'm talking about this situation.
I'm not even talking about pandemic. I ain't even talking about that.
Okay.
There's other things going on in this world that can, but people can be worrying about over this person leaked this. Yeah, they leaked the game. Mm-hmm. We understand that. Is it wrong? Yes, it's morally wrong.
Right.
You shouldn't do that. Because somebody, like I said, somebody leaked one of my games. I'm gonna be pissed about it. But at the
I need to ask Don this too. If somebody leaked his game, how would he approach
if
that?
Days go pass on,
I think Don would get back to his old job. Start doing
but it's but think about it, it's not like I cannot feel it. I feel it's like you feel hurt inside your heart instead of feeling like I feel bad about it. Like you feel like you putting yourself in their shoes, and I'm like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if they was in your shoes, that's how I think. I don't know. I think in the fourth dimension.
The fourth dimension? You ain't even you stepped out of the third? Hell, I mean.
Yeah, I'm in the fourth now.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I evolved.
You evolved to the fourth dimension?
I evolved to the fourth dimension.
No, I mean, look, I just feel bad for everybody involved into it, except for if it's a hacker. If it's a hacker, that's why I feel like it's a crock of shit coming from Sony. I really do, because of the fact that that's what they want you to. They don't want, because look. Let's just say that. Do you really think? Let's say this was Microsoft. Do you really think that they're going to come out and be honest with you and say, well, there was a disgruntled employee and we had to discipline them for the fact that they did this? Do you really think that what would be the questions then?
Yeah, because then they would be admitting guilt.
Exactly. So of course you're going to blame it on some person that when people vision a hacker, it's somebody that's wearing a jacket with the cloak over their head, and they laughing, and they behind a damn computer in Somalia or some shit, and that they're exposing all this stuff. That's where the vision of people they have. Well, that's my vision of hackers. Like they just, you know what I'm saying, but it's like that's a figment to get angry at. But if Sony came out and actually said, I mean, just think about this logically, people. If Sony actually came out and said that this was a person that wasn't an employee or an ex-employee that leaked this out, then there would be more questions. Because people were like, why would a person that worked at Naughty Dog for this many years, that worked on multiple games, or that worked on this title for this many years do this? What did you do to make this person be this scorn?
True. I agree with Columbo.
Thank you. Slayer, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong on what I just said, or tell me I'm right. Which one? Okay, Slayer.
And we lost Slayer and Lemon. Damn.
We lost Slayer. Now Slayer just popping shit on the.
I'm sorry. I had myself muted.
Yeah, you over here playing around, showing gifts. So tell me. I don't know if you heard what I said though, but I mean.
Yeah, I heard everything.
Okay, so yeah, what is your thought?
Bro? First of all, man, hashtag clusterfuck.
Oof.
Am I right? Am I right?
This is a mess.
The whole situation. There's so many angles to this situation with this game. So let's start from the very beginning, okay? Mm-hmm. When there's smoke, there's fire, and there's been smoke for a long time.
Yeah, man, that shit should be an inferno by now.
Oh my God, this is like Mount Vesuvius just killing people. Like, wow. It makes my head hurt just thinking, because there's so many details, you're going to forget something, and you just can't, So, okay. First off, this info gets leaked. And let me just look at this, all this footage, over an hour of footage as a technical person, as I am. So I'm going to look at it in that way. If you notice, the debug information is on. You see the frame rate?
Right.
You see the resolution?
Yep.
So frame rate and resolution. 30 frames. Most of the time, 1440p, because I guess they played this on the PS4 Pro. That's the same resolution and frame rate you get off that Uncharted / updated Last of Us engine when it runs on PS4 Pro. That's the resolution. That's the frame rate you get. Right? Is it not?
No, it is.
And there it is again. Okay. Now then, PK also said, and I completely agree, that these leaks, these videos are very specific to give you not just the broad strokes of the plot, the key points of the plot that you need to know what happens in the game, to spoil it for you. Okay, you watch these videos, you know plot-wise what's going on in the game. And if you're a fan of the first game, character-wise, plot-wise, and all of that, you may not like this game because stuff happens that you may not like. And if you heard what happens by accident, not wanting to find out, it's like Snape killed Dumbledore. If you didn't know that, that's going to mess with you. I didn't know that till I saw the movie, but it was a meme for years before that. So when it finally happened, I was like, I always thought the meme was a joke and it didn't happen, so I didn't know what was going on, right? Mm-hmm. And not to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it at this point, but yeah, he does kill him, but in the end, it was a little bit of a trick because there was more to that, And I don't see that happening here. This is not just the broad strokes of the plot. This is the plot. They spoiled it. Nobody came out and took credit. It just happened. But like I said, it's the debug. It's the debug info, the frame rate, all that stuff. That's an internal build. You know, it's complete enough, and the selection of cutscenes and stuff that's been played is not from some hacker who could have just gotten a couple of pieces here and there. This is a person who had full access to the game, knows everything about the game to be able to select these pieces to put to be leaked. This is no hacker. This was an inside job, in my opinion. As a person with a networking degree, networking security degree, a CCNA, okay, I live and breathe this stuff, and this doesn't smell, look, feel nothing like a hack. This is someone who had full access because either they're a part of the development team or there are or play testers or something, or maybe ESR. No, not ESRB, because ESRB gets specific clips so they could see what the game is like, what the broad strokes are about, and the kind of content that's in the game so they can give it an appropriate rating. But we all knew it was either going to be rated M, or if it goes too far with the AO, they can they could submit something, some changes to get off that AO, because guaranteed they don't want that. They want that M, or expect the M rating,
right?
Obviously. So when I look at it from that point of view, I highly doubt it's a hacker. Just no. So it's got to be somebody from the inside. So now then, so it must be somebody from the inside or somebody who had access or whatever. But you don't make no claims. You just put the shit out there and don't say nothing, right? So now you look at the reasonings that first came about the employees and the way they've been treated that we've known for a long time, for years now. Most of them ran off to the initiative and elsewhere, but most of the initiative, as far as I know. Am I wrong on that? I don't think I am.
No, a lot of them ran to the initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of them did. I'm sure others went
elsewhere.
Well,
it was 70% of them. I'm sure. I wouldn't say the majority of the 70% that left Naughty Dog, but but quite a few of the bigger names left.
Yeah, the bigger names. Yes. Let's say it like that. I just want to be accurate in what I say, because there's going to be some folks who's going to come and take my word.
Oh, you're going to be called a fraud regardless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know what? Don't worry about that. I got wide shoulders, man. You know what I'm saying? I handle the heat all the time. I don't care. Let them come. Let them come.
Let it be.
Let them learn. Let them learn. Let them get educated tonight.
So say we all. And it's just, man. This is a whole mess. So now there's this whole, Neil Druckmann and Anita Sarkeesian. Basically, I'm just listing all the ways this is a clusterfuck. And long story short, the Don, proved it when he said the statement like almost an hour ago now. These folks are on salary. That's the only way they could do this bullshit behind crunch. Because if everybody was being paid hourly, this wouldn't have been possible. By definition, they'd have to be paid hourly, and with crunch, it's more than like 80 hours a week sometimes when it's down to crunch, maybe more. That's not double time. When does triple time come to effect? Isn't it at like 80 hours, 70 hours, something like that?
Well, if they work in the sum of 60 hours, then it would, I'm saying that, you got to be looking at, from 40 hours, you're probably looking at about 80, 90 hours.
Yeah. So the amount of money you have.
It depends what state.
Okay. Well, they're in California, so maybe you in Cali.
Okay, California this is how they play it out here. If you do 8 in one day, if you go over 8, that's overtime. Say if you hit 40 in 3 days, that's overtime. After that turns to double time. Okay. Then after that, it turns into triple time. And you're not allowed to work no more than 6 days a week, really. Supposed to have an off day. But people can get away with it, especially when you kind of contract like I have, because I just done it before. I done it when I was good with this job. I went 14 days straight, but I was under a contract at the time. So I didn't get under, I could have said I needed a day off, but like you say, people, like you said, Megan, when the money good.
Yeah, you
good.
You deal with it. Money good. Money good. You ain't gonna complain too much.
The money good.
You might complain during the week, but then when that check is like, God.
And they don't really want you to do that. So when you get put on salary, that's why I used to hate when I worked at Lowe's. I was stayed a department manager, because if I turned to an assistant store manager, they was on salary, and they'll tell you need to work that 6 day. You need to work 7 days because you're on salary. If you was in a hourly employee, you can go tell them to go help. Go fuck off. That's not in my contract. My off days is what this, and that, and that's the difference. And a lot of people get pressured, and that's all the thing about it. In that circumstance, they get pressured.
Well, and see, that's the thing that was said in that article was that there was a lot of people that pressured because there was one point that was stated that the vets when the contractors came in, once people would leave, then they would have to help the contractors, and even if the other contractors would feel like they were getting screwed over, they felt obligated because the vets were staying there, and so even though they wanted to leave, or like 100, what you said, like they could probably say, "Look, I'm getting the hell out of here. This ain't what this ain't what's supposed to happen." But because they were pressured by everybody else, look, because these contractors want to be hired by Naughty Dog. They don't want to be a contractor.
Yep.
They want to get on salary just like everybody else. So you got
to be developers.
Right. So you got to work. You got to work. See, in my state where it's right to work, that's how they get you. Like, when they sit there and they work you 14, 15 hours in a day, yeah, as a person that's just in there, you ain't supposed to do that. Like, that's, what I'm saying? You go over 14 hours, that's window time, and there's all other type of little stipulations. That's federal law that they can't fuck with, that you can get fucked over by. So, if, what I'm saying? But when you have a whole crew, we've been working ever since, like, midnight, and it's 5 o'clock in the evening, and we're almost done, and then people start, if people wanted to decide to start leaving, then I guarantee you the next time when there's another big job, they're going, those people that left, they're going to get fucked. They're the ones that's going to get left behind. And that's where the pressure comes in, to where, man, I want to go, I'm tired of this shit, but I got to stay to not only look good, but to also hopefully that the superiors are looking at me, and that they'll go ahead and include me into this, and get hired. And in all reality, they're just looking at you as just another bum.
Right.
Just
the
doing
reason
the
I
work for
bring
them.
up all of this is, and as a side note, so this is why,
Thank you for the follow, Princess.
Oh, yeah, cool. So
Prince, my bad. I didn't want to call you. Look, sorry. My bad, Prince. My bad, Prince.
Yeah, so this is why many people say the gaming industry, they need to unionize. I mean, they've talking about this for well over a decade, if not two, and there's still nothing's come of that. But either way, all this talk, this just goes to show. So thank you, 100, because you just clarified my point even more that I was trying to make, was that,
but you could get screwed over too in salary, because they could work you more hours, and I mean, really, at the end of the day, this is the thing, though. This is the thing, and I'm going to let you finish. I'm sorry, I just want to make this point. At the end of the day, though, I don't know how it is in California, but I know how it is in my state. Once you get past a certain amount of hours, once you get past that 55, 60, that 55, 57 hour week, and then you go, everything else is the government's. Like, what I'm saying? Anything else, like when you work a 70-hour week, when you get that check, you like, shit, I'm balling, son. Then you see Uncle Sam saying, "No, fool, I'm balling."
You take a big old chunk.
Chunk.
That's when when you finna work them big hours. That's when you go file exempt.
Oh,
you
no,
ain't getting my money.
Yeah, I got you on that. Or you can file. You can file 8. You know what I'm saying? You can do that shit.
You go file 9.
Yeah, you can file 9.
File 9.
But
I want to make sure I get my money. You ain't gonna get all this.
Megatron was listening to this. Megatron was here listening, and we're kind of like in the same profession. You don't know what's going to happen the next day unless it's a big job that you know that you're going to be doing that on. So that's the thing, and you don't really have time to be doing exemptions and all that shit when you getting up at 10 o'clock at night and working until 1, 2 o'clock and 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
You're too damn tired to be even. I need my W-2 form get done. I need my W-2 get done, especially when it's around bonus time. Like, oh no, all right, bonus time. I need my money because they double tax you down. They double tax you down bonus. So you got to know the route. I don't know, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I get it. I mean, look, this is the thing. I mean, these developers are just as smart as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And there's also developers that are looking for opportunities to get into the game. I mean, Naughty Dog is one of the biggest studios out there. Of course, you're going to work for them. Of course, you're going to prove your worth the best way that you can. Some people can do it, some people can't. The hour thing wasn't the thing that bothered me. because I work those hours. And it sucks. I know it takes your life away. But the point of the matter is that you know what I'm saying? It's the other things involved into it that makes this so bad. And that's the whole point. I'm sorry, Slayer. Go ahead and finish up, man.
Nah, it's cool
we're
because
about
everything y'all have said is just furthers my point that like when you have to go through all of this stuff. I'm not saying it's right. Nobody's gonna say it's right. Nobody has said it's right that you leak this information. But yo, when you're going through all this crap, you're being worked like a dog. You don't get no rights.
Right.
You don't get paid right, and then you work so many hours that even if you did get this double overtime or triple overtime or whatever, then Uncle Sam comes jacks big chunk of this money you worked for and all of that. You start losing your mind. You start doing absurd things. You leak out your work. You ruin your name in the industry when you're caught, or you risk that. But for risk, it's gonna happen. They're gonna find you. They're gonna figure out who you are and how you did this. This has happened with Half-Life 2. It happened with Halo 2. It's happened with countless games. With movies, all types of stuff, and these folks have got. But but at the if they were thinking clearly at the time, they wouldn't have done it. But what leads a person to do these things? And well, there you go.
I'll put it this way. I'm gonna get you, man. You got great points. I'm gonna put it this way. Sometimes it's kind of like even in sports or whatever. Say I came in and they paid me a salary, right? You've been working your behind off. You've been putting in 30, 40 hours extra every 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come in and my job is really less than yours. You think about it in that time. Think about it. Developers don't have it over the big boys. You can't go back in that office and say I want to renegotiate my contract.
Nope.
It's not like that. They don't have that type of power. So I need to renegotiate. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm here busting my. I think that's the whole big thing. It's other people that might came in, like say Amy came in, and they thought they supposed to have Amy's job, and they got passed over for somebody that just came out of school and they're making more money than him, or you know what I'm saying, or this and that.
Or the network system where it's a buddy or a friend or a family member.
And so they sitting here like I'm busting my tail. I'm busting, and we can't renegotiate. But when you get into that development field, ain't no renegotiating. When you sign that on dotted line, that's what you getting. Now a lot of them get buyout clauses, or I can leave at a certain time or something like that. But overtime don't kick in for them. They got a set salary. That's why I was saying earlier.
Exactly.
Some of them can go in and say, hey, I'm going to work in the office for 4 hours and then I'll finish the rest at home. I just work home with me.
Yeah,
but some people don't have that.
That's a luxury. That's a luxury. That's not too many people that can do that.
I see a lot of
look, California is a different beast than a lot of other states, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you be saying some of this stuff, I'll be like, where the hell is what? But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean that just look.
Okay, 4 days a week. 4 days a week I work from home.
Well, I know that. I know that, but
I have access
that don't happen with a lot of people, bro.
I have access to everything, but I have what's called. And the thing about it is me, man. I'm not on salary. I'm on the clock.
Well, I mean,
so
I get
and
that.
I can say, and I never wanted a salary because I wanted to say.
You got a good gig.
No, but no, I wanted to. No, I never wanted. My thing was they wanted to give me more. I didn't want you to say, hey, you have to come in. No, you ask me if I want to come in. If I say no, you can't charge me to the game.
Well, all right.
That's the difference between salary and you on that clock. If you on that clock and that your boss call you, if I call you making you on the clock and it's your off, then like, hey, I need you. And you're like, man, I can't do it today. I can't penalize you. But if you on that, you on the salary and I say I need you, you better get your tail there.
That's where the difference between the states go. Because if I'm on the clock and somebody calls me, I got to have my ass there. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get where, because it's a different state, what you're going through. There's a lot of luxuries where some people, they scoff at. It cracks me up when there's a lot of people out here that scoffs at some of the benefits that people out there, like in the bigger cities that have. And then I'm like, and now hearing it, like, I mean, no way that shit's happening. Like my wife couldn't do that. She couldn't say, well, I'm gonna just work from home because I want to for 4 days a week. That is not happening. So I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah, but so yeah, like
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
saying. So, but my actual point is like, but you see, I'm talking about about double time, triple time, but no, you don't get that. You get the same shit you signed up for, no matter how many hours you work, no matter the fact that they worked you like a rented mule, you know, and just enslaved you out until there was nothing left of you, and then afterwards be like, oh, we're gonna delay the game even though we've been had it done, and give 15 excuses because we done messed up our own situation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pass the buck to you and make you suffer. Meanwhile, all the top dogs still getting their money though, which leads to that whole thing with David Jaffe. We're gonna have to go into this right now because I was the last.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll explain. I'll explain that
Okay.
quickly. I think there's a lot of stands that feels good about themselves because they feel that because me and David Jaffe had a couple of words back and forth. Um, David Jaffe made a post on Twitter, and I seen it, and he said that he was going to delete this post in 10 minutes, and it also said that he says that maybe those people should have got a lawyer. There wasn't anything saying that in that tweet. He didn't state anything about it was it was bullshit or anything like that. He just stated that maybe these people should have got a lawyer if they were having problems. And then he said, I'm going to post this, but I'm going to delete it in 10 minutes. So I was like, oh shit, because I glazed over that part, and then I went to reading the stuff from Reddit because I wanted to see what it was. And so then when I read it, it was going off on the whole tangent about employees and everything of that nature. So I reposted it. So then, of course, as usual, I could post anything. I could post to say, what I'm saying, God bless you, and there's going to be stands that's going to say you're an ex-slave or some stuff. That's just what they do, right? The stands just do anything stupid to say anything. And so here they come. Well, it's just that I said, look, David Jaffe posted this. You know what I'm saying? I said, you know what? I don't know. Ask him. I said, you know what I'm saying? He posted this, and what my post said was, oh, it's worse than I thought because, like I said, when I glossed over what he said, it didn't say anything that it was bullshit on that post. It was basically just saying, look, they should have got lawyers, which I agree with. Like if they're going through this type of turmoil, then there has to be something going on. But on my post, I just said, look, it's a lot worse than what we thought. And then, of course, it turned into a back and forth with me and a couple of other stands. And then somebody tagged David Jaffe. Then David Jaffe comes at me with caps saying that that it was bullshit and that I was lying and that I was deceiving my readers and all this other stuff. And then I made the point to him in caps, said you should have been clear about that because in that tweet. It was not. You did not state anything was bullshit, and so you say you got the tweet right there, Slayer. Are you there, Slayer?
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted myself because I wasn't speaking. So,
yeah.
I went back into our little GRG chat and I scrolled up and I found that on that post. And you click on that link, it's still active. So I've got that up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it now. This was the Reddit post that he linked to. Right. Okay, there is nothing on there that says this was a joke, sarcasm. There's nothing in here to imply this is a joke. And he linked to this and saying, yo, I'm posting this, and in 10 minutes, I'm wiping it with no smiley face, winky, nothing for you to think, oh, this is a joke. And when you read it, it's basically everything that we've been assuming and thinking and piecing together about the whole employee situation that's been going on forever. It's all the worst possible things in one post, and it all sounds believable, right? And then so you post simply that you couldn't.
I got something to add to that. That Reddit post. It's barely passable for some of the stuff because a lot of it is kind of disproven because I think that because after the whole debate with you and Jaffe K-Mega, he did add on to, of course, how the pay was, so it kind of disproved like that the person because of course one of the rumors was, of course, over the pay bonus,
Right.
and he added on to that saying that they usually don't give out the bonuses ahead of time. They usually wait till, of course, the game releases, then the people
Right.
get their
That's
bonuses.
how it goes. Right.
So
Right.
that part didn't make sense to me, with at least in the Reddit thread.
Mhm.
And of course, one of the things that was also noted there that I took away from that was that they said that there were hundreds of other people that felt the same way too.
Right.
But that, of course, like I believe Naughty Dog is like only like 170, 140 employees. I'm not too sure.
There's outside, contractors and stuff when they
Yeah, yeah.
Not that changes what you're saying, but I think when you look at this though, it's not that if it was believable, because it sounded so absurd and thus can make a statement that it's worse than he would have thought,
Right.
because it's crazier than you would believe to be true.
Right.
The only reason you would even pay it no mind instead of just giving a side eye or a raised eyebrow, because it came from David Jaffe, and he was like, I'm putting this up for you to see now, and I'm taking it out in 10 minutes with no little wink or smiley face and nothing to let you know it's all just a joke anyway.
Right, and that was
then it attacks K Mega.
Right,
I think that's a bit suspect what he did.
Yeah, no, it was suspect, but this is the thing though, because I was going back and forth with other people in the chat, and I was making a point like, I mean, look, Naughty Dog there's all this stuff going on with Naughty Dog, so I mean, who knows if this is real or not? But regardless, there's a lot of turmoil going on in Naughty Dog. And then all of a sudden, somebody tagged him, and he came in, and then he came in with the whole, oh, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was posting this to say this bullshit, and then that's when I came back at him. It's like, well, you should have made it clear. Then he came back with like, you didn't make it clear. You're just bringing out lies. And then of course the PlayStation fans just took on to that, like, oh, you got slapped in the face. No, the point of the matter is that I said you're in your feelings because you didn't make it clear about your post. Now you're making it clear. Well, hold on. But then this is what trips me out more than anything, right? So I'm like, well, if you didn't make it clear to anybody, so how am I supposed to know how you felt about it? Well, I was telling other people in the chat. I didn't read the fucking I didn't read the chat of other people that you was talking to. I just read your post. I seen it and I retweeted it. And then before he even came in and said anything, somebody, I don't know, one of those PlayStation guys showed me a link to Jason Schreier, and it said that he debunks all of this, that all that stuff was a lie. And I posted that in that same feed, in that same post, and said, well, he said that this is a lie. And then of course PlayStation fans was trying to make it out that everything was a lie. And I said, no. Jason Schreier didn't deny his articles, but he denied this Reddit post. Get that right. And so, look, you want to call me a liar because I sit there and I took what this man posted and then he deleted it? If you were so adamant, if the man was so adamant about wanting to keep the post and that it was bullshit, then you would think that he would keep it up there for people to see that he didn't believe any of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I thought that was weird. That's why I said you didn't make it clear. And then, of course, I came back and I said, look, hey, I misread what you said. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Look, if I misread what you said, I have no misread. But I wasn't saying that to him. I was saying that to people that was – I didn't say that to him. No, I didn't say that to Jay Jackson. Fuck that. I was saying that too because he was already gone by the time that – when we said, you know, because I was still getting feedback from other people, and so I said, hey, look, I misread what he said. It is what it is. I'm a man and I can say that. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of the facts, it still wasn't made clear. And the other people that was in there that seen that, and I'm pretty sure there's people in the chat that seen it as well. Take it for whatever it is. It still ain't going to stop for me asking the questions, because that's what this is all about. The PlayStation stands, I should say fans, the stands want me to not ask these questions and not talk about anything. They want me to be shut up. They want to be silent. If it ain't talking about something positive about PlayStation, then it needs to kick rocks. Fuck that. I'm going to ask the questions because this is odd, this is crazy, and everybody should be asking questions about what's going on in Sony and Naughty Dog.
Exactly, and if you look, like I said, David Jaffe put this up. Like, if it wasn't for that, like I said, you would have just looked at it with a side eye, like, that's a bit far. I bet
right,
you
like I said, it was worse than we thought.
Right, but he put it up, so now you're like, okay.
Right.
But now, in hindsight,
I would never have seen that if it wasn't for him posting it.
Right. Right. So now you gotta think like, why the hell did he do that? It's like he took a gallon of gas and tossed it on the fire. This has been a big fucking fire for a while now, okay?
Yeah.
Like smoke is fire. He fucking poured gasoline on it, and then when everybody sees that, wait a minute, wait, what? This is what? Wait, and then so now it comes out as fake, and now he's yelling at you like to use you as a scapegoat. Like, why did you say this shit in the first place?
Yeah, like, look, like I said, it don't matter. Like, if PlayStation feel like, look, I mean, when I last checked it, it was like what 130, 40 likes. I don't know it. I don't know how through the schemes or whatever, because I don't know every little stand out there. But I mean, if that's all you can muster, yeah, if that's all you can muster to get likes to discredit me, then that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to do more than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do more than that. Like, look, man. I mean, shit. It is what it is, man. So, yeah, no. I mean, do anybody else have anything they want to say before we? I do want to real fast, real quick, because you know we're approaching that 3-hour mark. I do want to talk about the May 7th thing real fast, but do anybody else have anything else they want to add? They want to talk about regarding this whole The Last of Us situation or the David Jaffe situation? Anybody?
No, this press covers everything. Like we hit in all aspects.
Yeah, we touch on it. Look. If you the one thing I will say about this, lastly, is if you are so foolish and so hell bent behind a company, but yet you're so quick to call somebody else corporate slaves or anything like that, but you're so hell bent not to ask questions when you know that the situation is odd, then I think you need to take that word and point it at yourself. Because if this was Xbox, I'm asking all types of questions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, if they won't, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the stands will say, oh, no, you wouldn't. No, but that's bullshit. Because there's been many times that we've all ridiculed Xbox for some point of reason, except for maybe 100, and 100 be trying to get at us for something that we've said in regards to it. But other than that, this is, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what company this is. This is shady businesses and practices that's going on, and they're trying to silence a lot of people, and that shit is not right. It's just not right, and people need to be asking questions, and hopefully the truth will finally come out eventually. But you know, if they found the person, then that definitely is true. They're not going to say anything. So, but last point, May 7th. I kind of just want to throw that in here. Xbox, they released that they sold that they have 10 million users on. Somebody's going to sleep. Did somebody go to sleep?
Game Pass.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank God. I thought somebody was out. That Game Pass. That there's 10 million subscribers on Game Pass. And that May 7th there will be an event coming out. That's something that I was talking about last week in those leaks, that there was going to be two, so 100 was partially right about what he was saying. And do anybody want to touch on that real fast before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Xbox Live thing with the Game Pass. But Xbox Live, how many people are on Xbox One right now? How many Xbox Ones have been sold?
Nobody really knows. I mean, some people say 60, some people say 40, some people say 50. It's between.
Okay, so let's go
between 50 and 70.
Okay, let's split the difference and say 50. All right. I'm pretty sure it must be a little more than that. I want to say closer to 60, but all right, let's say 50. Right. So there's now 90 million people on Xbox Live. Okay. Right. Now this is simple math. To kill all the narratives I'm hearing from the stands here. Let's simple math, undeniable, and some of this we're some guesstimating, but it's nothing crazy. It's obvious shit. Okay, so let's say there's 50 million Xbox Ones sold, right? But there's 90 million subscribers to Xbox Live. Even if every Xbox One owner was on Xbox Live, because it's not the Game Pass, because they mentioned that separately, and Game Pass does not give you access to Live. Game Pass Ultimate does, and they would have made that distinction. They would have made the distinction. Even if they did, that's only 10 million people on Game Pass. So if you add the 10 million to the 50, that's still just 60, and it was 90. Even if you take the highest number to 60 and you add that's 70, there's still another 20 million on Xbox Live. And The stands like to say, oh, that's just the PC players, but that would only be the Game Pass Ultimate people or Game Pass. It can't be Game Pass, because with Game Pass, you don't get Xbox Live. You just get the Game Pass, and on PC, you don't need that. You don't need to pay for Xbox Live on PC in the first place. So that means there's only one way to explain the discrepancy. Xbox 360 players on Live is still a fucking legion. They stopped making the 360 years ago.
Yep.
They're still a legion. At least, what, 25, 30 million still on Xbox Live playing 360 games?
Let me just push back a little bit. I'm not just 360. We're talking about Switch. We're talking about mobile, because people play Minecraft.
Right, but I'm saying paying subscribers to Xbox.
Yeah, you have to have pay to have.
Not on
Xbox
the Switch and PC, just on the Xbox. So the Xbox and the 360.
Yeah, you don't need on the PC and on the Switch. You don't use have to.
You don't need on
log into your
Android,
Xbox
iOS,
account to get a TV.
Yeah, PC. Yeah.
You log
I know that
into
about
the
PC.
TV.
I don't have a Switch yet, so yeah.
Right, except
Switch you don't.
Right, so except for the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, every other platform that can access Xbox Live for achievements and all that stuff, you don't pay for access. You just pay for Game Pass, which was a different number they gave. So
yeah,
no
that's
matter
right, because
how
there was people
you
that
add
was
this
pissed off about that. Like, why PC and other people don't pay for Live and Xbox players have to? Yeah.
Right. So no matter how you add those numbers, if you high ball, low ball, mix it up, no matter what gymnastics you do with the numbers, you can't count for everybody. So the rest has to be 360, because that's the only thing explainable, right? So they stopped making the 360 at least 5-6 years ago. 6 years ago. 2027, 6 or 7 years ago. It's been done, and there's still that many people, and it's increasing, especially now with the pandemic and all of this. So all these people who've been talking negatively about Xbox Live, there you go. There's numbers to show. You want to talk shit about Game Pass? There you go. There's numbers. Undeniable, because this has been the new stand narrative I've seen lately about Game Pass. There's not that many people on Game Pass paying and blah, blah. 10 million. 10 million. And you could say whatever bullshit you want, but the numbers don't lie. Facts.
No, I mean, no, the numbers don't lie. I mean, you're absolutely right.
How many people on PlayStation now?
1 million.
1 million.
You got over 100.
Well, hold on. I can't come out here.
1 million, or did it
I got to go to my
1
PlayStation
million?
guy, Rex. Do you know how many PlayStation Now subscribers are on PlayStation now?
I don't keep track of that, but last time I heard it, from what I gathered, it was close to approaching 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, I think we'll just round it off and say we'll say 1 million. 0.2 or something, you know what I'm saying? I got to be nice, you know what I'm saying? We got to play.
So a tenth of Game Pass. Oh, forget Xbox Live. That's a tenth of Game Pass. And these stats lately have been saying PlayStation Now is selling better than Game Pass.
They have.
That is factually bullshit. That is bullshit.
Not to interrupt you, but their new narrative is that I've seen somebody come out and say, well, because of Streets of Rage 4 dropped on Game Pass day one, they said if you're thinking about playing it, buy the game, don't play it on Game Pass to support the developers. But they don't understand that the developers are compensated for the games being on Game Pass.
Right, for each person that downloads that game, Microsoft has to pay Sega some kind of,
it's just like
somebody told me this is how they do. Sometimes Microsoft might do this, give them a heads up cut, but then every time somebody downloads a game, they get a cut off of what the Microsoft make money off of Game Pass, and then how long the person plays the game. That's how you see some games not having left Game Pass, because what the people is making money off of, because people are playing that game.
Not to mention if you guys have Spotify, it's just like how that works. When you stream the music, because we don't sell. I mean, I don't know. Some people still buy physical discs, but majority of people stream their music now. So how do they keep track? How do they pay these people? It's about how many streams, how many times it was downloaded, how many times it was listened to. It's the same idea. It's the same market. Um, and so they're being compensated. That's a lie. Thinking that if you don't buy the game, they're being compensated. The thing is, they're making more money with it being on Game Pass because they don't have to distribute. That's what they don't understand. There's a lot of things they could save money on by putting it on Game Pass rather than selling it individually.
Right.
PK, I was telling my boy
Everyone-
this earlier today. I said, okay, which color didn't have a bunch of marketing? Streets of Rage 4, right?
Mhm.
But since they put it on Game Pass, who's going to be their marketing? Us,
Right.
because we're talking about it, we're
Oh,
playing it,
people
we're
are
showing,
people are
we're
showing
showing
the hell out of that
gameplay.
game.
Yeah,
People,
you're going to Twitch, you're going to Mixer, you're going on Twitter. People showing that. That is they got that's their advertising budget right there. And they got it for free.
Yep.
I actually gotta admit, I didn't know about the game until yesterday when people were talking about it, that it was in Game Pass.
See.
So it is doing its job.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this, Cali Rex. I mean, you know what I'm saying, like, what do you think about Game Pass? Because I've listened to some people that I used to work with that would dog out Game Pass, would call their games game fillers, and then now all of a sudden, because certain games like this and Devil May Cry and other games come on to Game Pass, now they're saying I just only am dogging out the Xbox exclusives. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that that's bullshit. They're just liars. But what do you think about Game Pass personally? I mean, as a person that you know that's more of a PlayStation fan. I mean, do you think it's good value, or do you think that PlayStation Now is better? What?
Well, I mean, I'm not a really big fan of streaming or just these kind of services because I more like to own the games instead of just them being digital. Because a lot of times I've seen games just shut down and they don't work because they were digital only. So I don't really care, but I think Game Pass is great for what it is. It's great value. There's tons of games. There's tons of great new games that are being added in there all the time. It's a great service. But personally, for me, it's not for me.
It's not for
So
you.
let me
Okay,
let me just ask them a question real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
Just
Because
to
PK,
clarify,
you probably gonna ask the same question I'm gonna ask. Go ahead, PK.
to clarify, when you say own, do you mean physical or digital own, or could you clarify that discrepancies real quick?
I mean, like, because the example I'm going to use is like, because I know a lot of games now we hardly have any ownership. Like, a more recent game that got shut down was the Transformers games made by Activision, right? I know you don't own those games, but I prefer like games that you can actually own. Like,
own them. I do own those games. But go ahead.
yeah, we own the disc, but I believe that the servers are shut down for the online. But I think a better example would be like the Tron game that released alongside the movie, because I believe Disney stopped paying for the services for that, and the game no longer works. So
yeah, they stopped paying for the DRM server or whatever, which is
Yeah.
a whole nother.
But I mean,
whole
but
situation.
but I do have to ask this question though too. I mean, does that make a difference even if you buy physical? Because if the game is if the servers are shut down, I mean, you're still going to deal with people. You're still going to have to deal with the same thing like somebody else would that bought it digital, right?
yeah, sometimes it depends. Like story-driven games, I don't think those are affected as much.
Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, it's just like I do know that some like single players are affected. Like again, the Tron game, but it's mostly my problem is just digital because I know they could pull games off the stores like Activision did for a lot of their games with the Transformers and Marvel games.
Oh yeah. I mean, so
I
okay, so
guess I can understand that piece.
yeah,
I
no.
was
I
just
mean,
trying
I
to.
get no. I'm sorry, PK. Go ahead.
No. I was just trying to understand his point. Is all is for his meaning behind the ownership, because I know you can purchase the games on Game Pass at a cheaper rate.
Yeah,
Exactly, they
can't
give
do
you a
that.
little bit of a discount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, he's more of a physical. Look, from listening to a lot of people. I mean, there's still a lot of people out there that likes to still buy physical copies. I just never understood the whole thought process of when you buy physical, that it's so much different than digital. When at the same time, if the server shut down, that digital game is just as useless as a hard copy, because you can take it back to GameStop, but you ain't gonna get no money off of it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's just nothing but just to throw it into the heap if you got a digital. Now I got one more question on this for you, Rex. Would you want PlayStation Now to implement? I know you don't care about the streaming services like that, but would you want PlayStation Now to implement what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, or it really doesn't matter either way?
I mean, even though I don't care for them, I do think it does help that they do actually do good for the service and for, of course, their customers. They should always improve. So it never hurts.
Right. So so what about PlayStation games day one? Day one, kind of like what Xbox is doing. Like, so if they offered that service, like with their games, would you think about wanting to hop on then if they decided to want to put like their exclusives, like let's say Ghost of Tsushima was going to be their first PlayStation Now title? Would that be something that you'd be interested in, or you just still don't care?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool, but in reality, I do see like a lot of people probably just creating just like free trials for like a month just to play the game and then not even bother buying it, of course.
Right.
Because they're usually single players, and once you play through them, you practically finish them. But
which is most Sony's.
Maybe that's why Sony don't do it. And maybe that's why Sony don't do it, because they are for only for single player experiences instead of right.
That's the issue I see with them. But of course, they could always put like something like the Predator game or maybe Dreams, something that's more multiplayer based.
Right. See, yeah, and then like we talked about last week. Well, me and Don talked about it on the Dev and the Gamer. No, I don't know if did we talk about this, about the whole co-op thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know. I don't think we had enough time. So let's say that Sony would decide to do that, and then they wanted to implement co-op into Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and then they decided to want to implement those things, and then just like with The Last of Us, they're going to be working on the multiplayer factor on that. Would you be considering it then, or is still basically the same thing? And then I'll leave you alone. I won't ask you no more. Yeah, for you.
I mean, for me, it's practically the same thing.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to get it, because I look at it as Game Pass is just so much of a benefit. I mean, as a PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I see how good it is in value. It's just for me, I just don't go that way. It's just I'd rather actually own the game physically instead of just digitally.
Well, I'd like to comment on this whole situation here about the physical and digital. Just this little aspect here. See, unfortunately, this generation, these games and the constant patches, even for a game that's not dependent on online that much. Let's say, for instance, this new Streets of Rage, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's playable online, but if the online servers all of a sudden were shut down on live or whatever platform you got the game on, you could still play the game. You just couldn't play it online. Thankfully, it's got local co-op, other things like that. So this is a good example of a game where it wouldn't be hurt that much, right? But most games are not that. Most games have constant patches that change up the game, not even for the online, for the offline, for the single player experience. And they do so many updates and DLCs and expansions and adding more and more and more. And it's constant throughout the life of the game until the next iteration of that game is out. Look at Call of Duty. They've had models where they do one month to month, and with this new Call of Duty, it's not even every month. It's every like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Whenever they got it done, completed, and passed certification, they put it on their servers, and they making this money selling new content and giving you ways to get it for free. So those games, even that aspect of it is multiplayer. But my point is that they're adding more and more and more and more and more to it. Even like a simple indie game, there might be some issues with the game at first, and then they have to patch it later. And you're not going to get that patch, those updates on the disc if that patch is is serious enough those changes are serious enough. So
Yeah,
that publisher last what was it? It starts with an L something, but they're mostly on PlayStation. Limited Run.
Oh, okay.
And oftentimes they wait till way later after the game has calmed down in terms of patches, and then to release a disc that represents, the what you call the final form of the game. This whole clusterfuck once again of and so having a physical only, it's hard to do in 2020.
Yeah, no, I understand that argument. I see your point because this whole generation practically.
I want to be anyway, but I can't. I guess it's hard.
Yeah,
my point.
Yeah, I
also
understand that
see
argument.
his
It's
point
just-
too because
I do too.
remember X-Men that was published by Konami or Ninja Turtles or something. Since
Yeah.
they lost the license to all those are pulled from the store. You can't get those anymore. You
Yeah.
can't get them on you can't re-download them on Live. You can't re-download them on Apple Store. None of that stuff.
You can if you own those games, you can. But if you don't, well, on Xbox Live, you can. I'm not going to say for other platforms. I know on Steam you can as well. There's many games that are unlisted that I have.
Well, I mean, but you also look at the benefit. I mean, listen, I get what Rex is saying too, because I mean, you look at like Marvel versus you look at Marvel versus Capcom 2. If you still have the disc, you're solid. If you didn't buy it digital, then you're fucked. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's one of those things where there's still benefit to it. I don't know. Rex, go ahead and make your last point on it because I know you were saying something, and so we can get out of here.
Yeah, basically, that's my whole thing is because, you see, I barely entered. I wasn't that much of a gamer like I am now, so I don't have that huge of a collection. So I missed out on a lot of games, so I can't really buy them digitally. At least like games that came out on the PS3 or like just like on any other consoles I choose to buy, And that's just my whole thing. Because I know if you own them physically, you could at least have a chance of playing them. But I understand that argument where nowadays we don't actually own these games anymore.
Right, yeah, because we don't. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's even with hard copies now these days. I mean, if they decide to shut down the servers, then it's over, unless it's a single player experience, which that's why I understand why Sony goes the way that they go, which is smart. That's fine. They want to recoup as much money as they possibly can. But, I mean, but you also have to look at the smaller titles. Like, for instance, just think if Sony added, PlayStation Now had, some form of Game Pass, and they were offering a game like Gravity Rush 1 and 2 on their service. How many more people would have got a chance to play that game, and more people would have bought that game than they would than the dismal sales that the games had. And they're not bad games whatsoever. They're good. It's just that you know what I'm saying. I mean, if PlayStation wouldn't want to do it for their single player bigger titles, you would think that they would really want to do that for their second and third. For their second party games like games that come to mind like Fist of the North Star. I don't know what you call it, the last Guardian, games like that won't appeal to everybody, but that there will be plenty enough interest for people to just download it to play them. That's why I say, look, you know what I'm saying. Either way, I mean, since Sony is done fantastic with the way that they've done things on the PlayStation 4. I mean, that's why they're number one. And Xbox is doing what they're doing, and now their strategy seems to be working. 10 million subscribers. Obviously, to maybe some fans, it doesn't seem like it's beneficial, but obviously to Xbox fans, it seems very beneficial. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I just know that people just need to stop being liars and trying to differentiate. What's a filler game and what's not? Because if you was dogging out Game Pass, you know what I'm saying, talking about game fillers, then you was talking about all of Game Pass. Don't try to squeeze out of it now. So, all right, man, great show. I feel that we could have been doing this for another hour or two, the way that we were rolling, but of course we got to wrap this shit up. Thank you, Cali Rex, for coming on to the show, man. Anytime you want to come on, man, let me know. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Your channel is growing. Man, you know what I'm saying, and you came in here. I reach out to a lot of PlayStation cats, you know what I'm saying, just to want to come on and have a discussion. We're not here to yell at you, you know what I'm saying. We're not here to ridicule you. You have your thoughts, your beliefs, your stances, and we respect them. I don't, you know what I'm saying, but I guess people just like the fuck shit more than they like to have a logical discussion. But thank you. Where can they find you at? And yeah, man, let everybody know about what you're doing.
You guys can find me on Twitter, CaliRex1, and my YouTube is just CaliRex. And I got a lot of new stuff planned. And I actually just announced that I'm going to be trying to launch my podcast soon.
Nice, man. Anytime you want me to come on and be a guest, have me on, man. I'll definitely be there, man. There's no doubt about it. No doubt
Yeah,
about
sure
it.
thing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm here to support, man. I know that there's a lot of misconceptions about me about stuff like that, but I'm a gamer first. I just want everybody to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And I, you know what I'm saying? And like I would, if I could, I've reached out, like I said, to so many PlayStation first gamers and to come onto the show and let's talk, let's chop it up, but they refuse. So you know what I'm saying. So I appreciate that you got the balls and that you came on, man. I really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. So thank you. Operation Op, where can they find you, man?
Yo, for me, you can of course find me here every Friday on GRG, every Saturday on Smash Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern, and on Twitter at Operation Oppo.
All right, cool. Live wire, man. Yeah, man. I only got a little bit out of you today, man. Well, no, I mean you had your point, but man, I wanted some more out of you. But you know what I'm saying, you gave me some great points, man. You gave some great points tonight. But where can they find you at, brother?
Find me on my channel, Livewire Gaming. Most recently, I've been playing a lot of Gears Tactics, and
Ain't that game dope, bro?
yeah, I mean, to me, it reminds me of like another game that I wasn't really into the genre, like Halo Wars.
Halo
I
Wars,
like
yeah.
Halo.
Well, it's more
That's
like
why.
XCOM to me.
It plays
Yeah,
like
it's
Well,
XCOM,
I didn't
yeah.
play
It's
it.
not like
I
it,
didn't play
but
it.
I get what Live is saying though, yeah.
Like I would say, like I played Mutant. Was it Mutant Zero?
I
And I
still
thought
need
it
to
was
play that. I
cool.
ain't played
I
that
think it
yet.
was Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah, Year Zero, right? I played it and I thought it was cool, but I didn't quite understand the concept of like how to play it until now I'm playing Gears. Because the thing is, I know how Gears works. So you don't got to tell me what to do with a grenade or do with a lancer or do like another game. I got to figure out like the weapons and how to like how will I operate that in a strategy set. Like to me, it's just because I know what Gears is. It
Mhm.
just it's easier for me to understand the concept of like how I would do turn based with this. And it's dope. Like to me, man, I be having because I was telling 100 the other day. I was like, bro, it's like playing Gears. Like you use basically the same strategies you
Yeah,
would use playing Gears. It's just turn based.
right.
That's the only
It's
difference.
dope. It's hard too. Like I play it on
Oh
normal
yeah,
and it is
I was
tough.
playing that Burmac for
Strategy
like
games are unforgiving. I
Yes,
will
they
say
are.
that.
Yes,
I was
they
playing that
are.
thing like 45 minutes, man. If I had died, I would have been crying.
Bro, I just passed the mission where I saved the two soldiers. Like,
Oh, in the
yeah, you only
boxes.
had 15 turns. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I only had 3 turns left. No, 2 turns left by the time that I finished it. Like, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, but yeah,
like
no.
like right now, I might up the difficulty. I'm playing on beginner because
Hmm.
it's been a while since I played the Mutant Year Zero, and I'm just trying to figure it out. But I can see myself playing this again, like on a much harder difficulty because when I'm playing the game, I'm like, man, I'm looking at it. You could like sometimes you be like, oh man, why did I do that? I should have did that shit.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Like
I did
or
that plenty of times.
like use too many grenades. You'd be like, man, I should have used my
You should have
grenades. I
held
should
on
have
to
saved
them,
the
yep,
chips.
because when those damn little things come running at you, you got to use them. Them things, they get so many more feet. Okay, look, well, that's another discussion for another day. But yeah, no, Gears Tactics is fantastic. I understand that like people like my boy Xbox 448 and others, they're pretty pissed off because it hasn't came to the Xbox. I don't know the reasoning. I think it's more so
Listen,
that
bro.
the
Listen.
PC, it has to
Listen.
be, it needs to be
Hey,
more.
Mega, how you playing that game?
Oh, with the controller.
Bro, I can't. I tried it.
I
can't play
Bone too.
strategy games with controllers in there.
You
I
can't?
try,
Oh my
bro.
God. Yeah,
And
man.
yo, Mega.
Yeah.
I am a controller dude, dog. I
Yeah.
wasn't planning
It's
to.
much
I
easier
only
with
be
a mouse and
no.
keyboard. No,
Look,
I tried
here's
both,
why
but yeah, I wanted to force myself because when it comes to
listen,
the Series X, I'm going to be playing it on there.
listen. Because I played Halo Wars, and to me, Halo Wars on controller and mouse and keyboard, they're not that far off for me. But this shit, oh hell no! Like, bro, I was using the controller. I was shooting the cursor. I was like, what? The fuck? I kept on missing. I'm like, yo, this is killing me. I just jumped on the mouse. I said, nope, not doing that controller. Like, I know it works, but it doesn't work as well as it could. You know what I mean? It needs to be
That's why
optimized
I
way
think
better.
yeah,
Like that's
that's
why they
why yeah,
when
that's
people
why
were
they wait.
talking about, well, Xbox should just throw it on there. I said, fuck, they shouldn't.
Nope, nope, because
Not like
yeah,
this, bro.
no, not like that. No, because there's a lot of shit to learn. That's why I got to go back and I got to play XCOM because I didn't like XCOM 2. I loved XCOM 1, but I had a problem with XCOM 2. So this has got me jonesing to get back on XCOM 2. So anyway, all right, man. Like I said, that's another shit. But cool shit, live. Cool shit. You got me. I think that's what I'm gonna play after I get off here. Uh, PK Live, man. Thank you as usual. Man, you know what I'm saying. Where can everybody find you at, man? And can't wait for that next gameplay, man.
So they can find me here every Friday on GRG and on Twitter at PKX Live.
Nice, excellent. And my boy Six Slayer, you know what I'm saying, holding it down. Lemon gave all he could before he passed out. You know what I'm saying, I'm gonna clown him when I talk to him tomorrow. And you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let him know about that. Said your old ass went to sleep, Buttercup. And so but where can they find you at, Six Slayer? Maybe there's somebody else that went to sleep. Oh, look, he's gonna say, "Oh, I was doing something."
God damn it, I did it again.
Fred, what's going on with you? Damn.
But yeah. Yo, my name is Sick Slayer, and people used to tell me I was pretty sick at Slayer, hence the name. Okay, but that was many, many moons ago, and I'm older and grayer over nearly 20 years, but I still think I got what it takes. So, if you want to find me on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, even for the next 5 weeks, because of that free 99, you'll even find me on Stadia. No one's taken me up on that offer yet. I wonder why.
I'm finna download me some free Stadia and clown. I'm gonna record some gameplay.
Yeah, but what if game platform there is, unless it's a Nintendo game platform, because I still don't have a Switch yet, and I don't think even if I had the stacks and stacks of money to get one, it would be all that easy to get one anyway. But either way, find me on every game platform that matters except for that Switch for a little bit longer. And most every week, you'll find me right here on GRG.
Nice.
Come out.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, as usual. You're pretty much family now. You know what I'm saying? The podcast has gotten bigger, but man, the conversations has gotten a lot more deep. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Just a lot more quality, man. I definitely appreciate you and PK and for any guests that we have on the show that brings their insight because, you know, that's what it's about, just talking about gaming, man. So I really appreciate it. As usual, thank you guys for hanging out, staying up late with us. You know what I'm saying? I will upload it and have it ready to go for tomorrow. The stream went perfect. There was no issues. I think I figured out the issues that was going on that I've been having because for people that watched the upload last week, they only got a portion. The show really got popping in the last hour and a half because Don came in and he was giving his expertise and we started talking about more of the leaks and everything else. But I apologize for that. But yeah, man, check us out on Mixer Sunday night. Well, actually tomorrow night, me and Don will be playing Streets of Rage. So come check out me and Don on Mixer. And then of course every Sunday night is Sunday Night Fight Nights where we'll be playing multiple fighting games. And there's a lot of shit talking. There's no hold barred. We have a female fighter. She's a bad bitch. I'm just gonna say it like that. She's a bad bitch. That girl can fight. She can play every damn fighting game. And she's a problem and she'll talk shit to you and it pisses you off and then you gotta go across her head. And sometimes you don't. You just get your head beat. But that's all right. It's a
She
great.
make you feel a little less like a man. If I mean,
Man,
goddamn.
and she'll tell you, she's like, I'm the one with the dick. She's cold, boy. Vamp is a cold woman, but I love her, man. She's great. And then of course Sir X-Man will be singing rock songs to you. I can't help you. That's just horrible. But everything other than that, come and join us on a fight night. And if you want to join us playing some fighting games, come and do that. It's great. And of course, I'll drop some other stuff. And thank you. So as usual, as I always say, well, no, this is the new normal. So as I say, you could hunch, but you can't get down doing the real deal. No pants off, dance off. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep that social distancing. So you could get your hunch on though. Get your hunch on though. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.
Deuces.